Man, how you doing?
Good, good. I'm really excited. I've been wanting to talk to you and have you come back here for a while now. And
Super excited. It was a
yeah,
blast last time. Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
yeah, man. Anytime, anytime. I love to have cool people come back and have these conversations. And you have a plethora of knowledge to to fall back on and have these types of awesome conversations, especially when it comes to magic. But I was thinking, I also want to talk about other things, other interests you got. I knew you have a lot going on in the background. A lot of people around you got a lot of cool stuff going on too. I wanted to bring that up. But
Yeah, let's
first
do
and
all of it.
foremost, because I've been itching, I've been really, really, really itching to get into this. You have a new deck of playing cards coming out. Me being a playing card lover myself, I have my hands on one of these decks, and I've been trying so hard not to open it because I wanted to open it right here in front of everybody.
That's super awesome. I'm so glad you waited, man. It's gonna be fun. Should we talk about it first, tease it, or should we just open it and then talk about it? What do you think?
Oh, I want to just rip right into it, but I want to talk about it because I feel
Let's do
like there needs to be a build up to the deck.
it. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Let me yeah, so this I wanted to make a deck, I think like a lot of people for a long time. Like just because I want to. Like, no any other reason than like it would be cool to have my own deck, right? And
Yeah.
so, there's so many like cool custom decks out there, and you know, it kind of went. It was an interesting journey how I ended up settling with like this particular design and kind of what I wanted out of this, because I think a lot of people, when it comes to making a deck, especially their first deck, they're like, how many things can I throw at this to make it cool, right? And you find out like all the features you can do. Oh, should I mark it? Should I have it custom printed? Should I do this? Should I do that? And it's very exciting. Like you're really there's so many things that you can do, and I kind of like got sucked into that a little bit, where it's like, oh, I could do so many things, but then I kind of went the opposite direction, and I was like, what really changed my perspective was, well, why is me and so many other magicians still only performing with bicycle decks? You know, when there's all these amazing custom decks, but the vast majority of people who are performing, and I'm a performer, and I want to, have something that I would want to use in performance. Why do we all use bicycle? And we like it's is it the familiarity? Is it the simplicity? And so I thought a lot about that, because I was worried. And one of the reasons it took me so long to even consider making a deck was like, I didn't want to make a deck that I wouldn't actually use to perform. Because,
Right.
yeah, it's cool to have my name on it, and it's cool to be able to have, see some people picking up my deck and all that. But more than anything, I wanted a deck that I could show up to gigs with, events with, and represent the brand, but also just have that nice little custom touch to it. And so before I tell you my theory, what do you think is the reason? What's your thoughts on why
The
magicians
reason as to
gravitate to
why
bicycles? They gravitate to
magicians make
bicycle
bicycle playing cards, I
when
think
there's
it's
all
that
these
the
beautiful
audience,
custom decks. Yeah.
the audience themselves, I think it's because they're so familiar with bicycle. I mean, they've been around, 100 was 140 something years. So I mean, that's probably just the familiarity. Everybody knows what a deck of bicycle playing cards looks like. So it doesn't seem at all suspicious.
Mm,
I don't think there's a problem with using custom decks. Maybe in the back of the spectator's mind, they might be thinking, is there something going on with that deck? And most of the time, there isn't. Let's, be honest here.
yeah. And that's kind of the path I went down, where I think that most magicians are worried that the spectator is going to think they're different. So they like the familiarity. But then also I think there's an argument for like the almost like the creature of habit thing, right? Where it's like everyone just uses them. They're obviously some of the cheapest but highest quality decks you can find,
They
and
feel great,
and then
right?
the familiarity, right? And by the way, I saw your video on all the different bicycle decks. That was really cool. I enjoyed that. Great stuff. If you guys haven't checked it out, I
Appreciate
see
you,
there's a few
man.
people in the chat, by the way. So what up, Max
Well,
and
hello.
Next Gen? What's going on?
Yes,
But yeah,
sir.
so what I thought, I thought there was two. I settled on two things. I was like, well, if I make a back design, the only possible way to create a back design that everyone's familiar with is to just make a bicycle deck, right? So it's like you can't, there's no possible way uh, without ripping off bicycle, with just buy a
Well, that's
bicycle
a
deck.
really good point because people have done that with like the maiden deck and the mandolin deck, which are really, really similar, almost to where the point where you can't really tell it's not a bicycle or official bicycle rider back.
For sure. Which again, I feel like there's a lot of that is for like some, to use, get around the copyrights and for magic and stuff, and that makes sense. But if you're trying to create, like, imagine I came out, I'm like, guys, I have my custom deck of cards, and then it's like the bicycle back design, and I'm just like, yeah, I wanted to create something that everyone is used to, and like, like it's just, it doesn't work, like it's ridiculous, obviously. So I was like, okay, the back design has to change, but I think the compromise can be simplicity. And then the big thing that I realized is, I think more so than the back design, it's a lot of the custom faces. Like, I think people can wrap their head around the idea that like cards can be printed differently on the backs, right? People have seen different back cards. It's pretty common knowledge. But when you have these faces that have all the different colors and look different, and custom court card faces, that's when I think people start to say, "Oh, this is something I've never seen before.
All right.
What else is weird about this deck?" So I ended up going down the route of, I really want this deck because I want it to be something that people, that myself more than anything, but everyone else could actually use. I was like, I want to just keep this super simple. I even thought about marking it. There is a pretty simple way that I could have marked these cards. With,
Bangers. That's what the
yeah,
first thing I thought of in my head.
exactly.
I was like, you know what? That could work.
It definitely could work, but the more I looked at it, I'm like, the markings would be so small with this back design.
Right.
I don't even think it was worth it. I don't. And again, I I don't like. And I think it's again, maybe it's just my stubbornness, but I don't generally use mark decks just because I like using bicycles so much. So I was like, just
It's
in the.
funny that you mentioned that because earlier what you said made me think about, the reason that people don't use custom decks is kind of the same reason that people don't like to use mark decks a lot of the time is because, they feel they have like that magician's guilt to the point where they also feel like the spectators are going
Mhm.
to know, even though let's be honest, they're not going to know
They
unless you're
won't.
like telegraphing,
Yeah.
but everybody has their own little performance style and it's not necessary but it could be an aid if you'd like to use it. It's available.
For sure. And ultimately, like, I mean, I'm a big minimalist. Like, that's half of like my persona. People know me as like a minimal, and it's real. Like, I have my whole lecture is called mental minimalism, right? My lecture that I do. And so it's like, it's all about, because I'm super big on minimal props. So I was like, you know what, let me, and that's where I ended up going. I was like, let me just make this deck as minimal as possible. Like, and that's right, simple, luxurious, made for workers, right? Like, that's the slogan that I really like with this deck, and that was the goal. So everything from the box design to the back design and then to the standard faces, um, is where this kind of generated. And now I think it turned out beautiful. I'm super happy with it. It's an awesome, branded deck. But this I think of it like a branded deck. It's a deck that's branded for me and my logo, and anyone who wants to support like it and rock it. Like, it's a super clean looking deck. So obviously I really appreciate it. But now that I've gotten that out of the way, I do want to do one more eventually. I don't want to turn into manufacturing a bunch of decks and all this,
Right.
but I would like to do a second deck down the line one day, and that one's going to be a lot more cool. I have some pretty unique ideas that I'm going to try to throw into a deck, something that hopefully is kind of new. I still haven't even figured out all of it, but you
Well,
know,
if you possibly consider using or utilizing some type of system marking system, you let me know. I'm very familiar with a lot of different
yeah,
systems out there,
you're
so
the marketing guy. Yes,
I love
definitely.
them. I love them. I
100% they'll be marked.
can't
And
recommend.
to give you a little sneak peek, I think, and I don't like, I can tell you the idea and not really explain, or
Oh, don't spoil it.
no,
Don't
I'll,
please
I'll
don't
give you a little,
spoil it.
yeah, I'll give you a hint. like I don't even know the idea. Like that's the thing. I know what I want it to be, but I don't exactly know how I'm going to achieve
At
that. Is
least
what I
not on the
mean.
live. We could talk about it on the side. I don't want to spoil it because I feel like
Okay.
that's kind of one of the fun things about when you get one of those types of decks,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you are going to go out there and make a second deck. Man, I'm so excited for that too. Oh
Yeah,
man,
no, man, it's gonna be super cool, and I'm I'm excited, man. It's all fun, but yeah, man. So this deck is it's a big milestone, something that I've wanted to do for a while, and I'm super happy with how it turned out, and even the process. Like I did it all myself. I do everything myself, from the design to dealing with the manufacturer, getting it produced, now doing all the fulfillment.
now the
So
design, I love the design because of the simplicity. Like I've been a big fan of like knock pros and stuff like that, and
yeah.
it kind of reminds me of that because it's so simple. But it's I love you have your branding out there, the black and white. Obviously, I'm a fan of.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's right up my alley.
Yeah, man. Should we pull them out and show the people what they look
Oh,
like?
no.
I have them right here, but I want to
I
let you do
opened
the.
it just to make sure everything was kosher in
What do you
there.
think of the packaging? How the
Yeah, I
shipping
love the
looks pretty nice,
packaging.
right?
Yeah, yeah, bro,
Yeah,
it's awesome. I've
yeah,
marked everything else so nobody can see where I live.
yeah.
Let's see here. All right. Wish you would throw in some of these stickers for me, man.
I should.
No,
Yeah, I should have, man.
yeah, this. So,
Don't show my chicken scratch handwriting to everyone.
okay, I won't show you.
No, I'm
No, it
kidding.
looks
It's all
great,
good.
man. Um, so your business cards. First of all, I wanted to ask you: are these the business cards that you use for your mentalism routines as well?
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
thinking about that.
Yeah, that's why they're all white on the other side. You could show the handwriting. I'm joking. I don't mind. But it's so they're all white on the other side with
Right.
the business on the front. Yeah, and I just do like the big thing I've chatted with other magicians about, and maybe this is relevant, maybe it's not. If anyone's interested in business cards, but putting phone numbers on the business card. As you see, I don't have mine, and
Right.
I think these days I generally recommend people don't. Um, you know, like personally, I think when you can get the lead, and this is a like super quick tip about getting leads, when you want to close on the phone, but getting the lead through email gives you a chance to see the request, understand what they want, and then not have to be put on the spot when you're now trying to negotiate. So when you go,
That's a good
I do my
idea.
website. So my website's there. So now when they want to reach out, they go to the website, they fill out the booking form, which has a bunch of questions to get all the info. So now I can come up with my quotes. I can understand the situation and know what I need to ask them before it's getting a call. Oh, hey, I want to book you for this. Oh, okay. And then of course they're going to
Right.
ask you how much you
You
want
got
to
to be
charge
on
on
the
the phone.
spot. That's actually a genius idea. I really like that.
Little thing. And then, too, if you don't want your phone number out there, I get that. Sometimes, you want to avoid all the calls, definitely.
Yeah, especially
So
if you don't have a separate line dedicated to business only. That
for
makes
sure,
sense.
for sure.
So,
Love the blackmailer. Thank you, man. Yeah, I was like I said, all this I was just figuring out. I bought like the label printer and everything, so I could like make all the custom stickers to do the bit of branding and like just have fun with it. You know what I mean? Because
do
like I had
you?
no idea what I was doing. Going into it.
I need to get some business cards. And that's one of the reasons I was asking about that. I purchased the out to lunch or out to dinner clip, which is a
Hmm.
really cool device. I'm sure you
Hmm.
know exactly what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah,
A lot of cool little routines and stuff that you can do with that. So I haven't gotten to getting business cards, unfortunately.
yeah. I use VistaPrint, so those
Okay.
those ones are VistaPrint. So I mean,
Oh,
they were cool. I'm happy with them. They look good. I got the like silver foil just to make them a little more premium, but they look nice.
yeah, they are pretty good quality too.
Yeah, they're a little sticky for mentalism, but most business cards and billets are. Like they don't spread like a card would if you imagine. They're more plasticky,
Yeah,
right?
I
So they
see
won't
what you mean.
spread very well, but you can still use them for all your switches and peaks and everything.
All right, here comes the moment of truth. A moment I've been excited about. Okay, so I haven't really even taken like a deep look. I just kind of peeked in to make sure everything's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cellophane.
Yeah.
I was scared. That's like the
Yeah.
wow.
The
It's
MPC
like a
this
reverse. It's a reverse,
it
like a
is,
ripped
yeah.
out the middle. Instead,
Yeah,
look,
I noticed that
that's actually
the
kind of cool. I've never
MPC
seen that before.
Yeah, it's the MPC cellophane, and they
Wow. Okay.
yeah, it's a little different. The first time I opened it, I'm like, "Oh, this is different," but it's easy,
All
super
right.
easy to open, which is nice.
All right. So we have a it's sort of a matte gloss, right? Finish here on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
deck.
yeah. It's all matte.
Slides. Got your name here printed on the side,
What do we
website
got?
on the
I'll hold it
bottom.
up here. So we got the name, we got the brand. Here's the front. A little bit
Yep,
of branding on the. Oh, that sounded nice.
it did. All right.
A
First
unique
card, first win.
first card, eh?
That's what I'm talking about. So this looks like it's a, linen finish.
Yeah, yeah. It's their premium linen with their premium linen, and then they have two finishes. They have a standard, and this is their beta finish, so it's smoother. Um,
Everybody that knows me, that I'm a pretty asset fan, so you can see that these are good quality playing cards.
dude, I don't know. Like, I'm not. I don't know. I out of the box, these are the slipperiest cards I've ever felt. They're so slippery, like almost
Ouch.
too slippery. I find. I don't know. You don't know more about decks than me, but how does it compare?
They feel great so far. So far, everything feels good. The stock feels
Yeah. So
good.
it's
The
yeah.
sides are not rough, but they're like they have that little bit of texture that you want to be able to grip them, but they're not rough at all. Like I
Yeah,
wouldn't
and
even feel like I would have to smoothen these out. Like
rub
sometimes
it.
with a
Yeah,
brand new bike, kind of got to smoothen them up a little bit. At least that
yeah.
helps. But these don't feel.
The
If
cut
you
is
feel
super
ready to rock
nice.
and roll right out the box. All right, so
Yeah. So
blank.
the blank on the face, that's a unique touch. But do you know why I did that? Did you see the
Uh,
video where I explained it?
yeah. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
Yes. The routine that you have. Yeah.
yeah. So I used to do this routine a lot, and we can talk about some of the other ad cards, but
Okay.
basically, just to show you real quick, I always thought it would be so cool to do this routine from a cellophane deck. So I was like, why don't I just print my deck that way if it's already coming with a blank? So you imagine you take off the cellophane and you're at an event, you pop out the deck and you're like, oh my god, I think they forgot to print my deck. I mean, the backs are all there, but they forgot the faces. And then I do this little
How
thing where I'm
dare
like,
they?
look, yeah, I go like each card. Look, each card is it's actually literally no matter where I check, and you're doing like a frustration count, and then you're like, look, even on this side, it's all blank, and then you can do your little rub and like,
Print
and
them
then
out.
they all print. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little fun thing, but uh, super cool.
I
It's a
like
fun
how
routine, especially at a
also
celebration.
one of the cool things about a blank card that I think a lot of people might not realize, but a blank card can live in your deck very easily because it's not spotted. You know,
Mm,
if I were to place this into the middle
yeah,
and just start spreading through, it's not very easily seen. So even if you're putting a fan,
totally.
fanning out the cards or whatever, it can live in there pretty seamlessly without being seen by the spectators.
For sure. So the other ad cards, do you wanna check those out and we can talk about them
Yes.
a little bit? So they should be the other two should be right on
Yeah.
top,
I've got
blank
the
on the
first
bottom.
guy, and then on the okay. Now, I am
Yeah.
okay. Just make sure. I am a big fan of this. Both of these things. Okay, so obviously Chicago opener, Hot Mama. That this is beautiful for
Yeah,
that.
we got the odd back,
And
the
honestly,
negative.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. You might want to make a whole deck like this. That shit's pretty slick.
Everyone's
Like,
been saying that. Yeah, I know.
I
I
ain't gonna
know.
lie,
I love
it
it too.
looks
They look
good,
so
bro. It
good.
really does look good. So seven of
Appreciate it,
hearts.
man.
There are some great ways to force the seven of hearts verbally. Also, um,
Psychologically. Yeah, this is the most common card when I ask someone, hey, just think of a playing card. That's why I went with it.
Alex Pandrea, he had that subtlety with the whole say it, and when you're
Hmm.
thinking of a number between 1 and 10, I thought that was brilliant. I've hit with that a lot. And
Hmm.
then a duplicate.
Of
Man, a
course.
duplicate
Have to
is
have the
so
duplicate.
valuable. I don't think people really understand how valuable a duplicate is. And I think because some magicians might think to themselves, "Oh, that's cheating." Some people are purists and they want, nothing but those 52 and jokers sometimes occasionally with
Totally.
it. I
and that's why
disagree.
I
Use whatever you can.
yeah, and I didn't go jokers because I was like, no one uses jokers. Everyone
I don't
chucks
use
them.
jokers neither.
I
You
sure
know,
do.
for all the tricks that people use jokers for, I just use the blackjacks.
Yeah, I use
Or
the black
I just
aces,
use,
so
yeah,
same thing. Yeah,
right, exactly.
totally. So that's why I thought like so for me this was the obvious duplicate is the most
Right.
common special card that I use. This one you don't see this printed with a lot of decks. The
No,
misprinted card, like you're usually getting it from another back design. But I always felt like it unless you're using like a blue and a red bicycle. Like if the back design, the lines and the image of the back design shouldn't change if you know you're
that's
going with the plot of the colors
I agree.
changing. It never made
I agree
sense.
with you.
So that's why I was like, let me do one. And this stands out, obviously, the white and the black, like so beautifully, right?
Yeah,
And
I
then you
love the
got a
fact that
second
it's basically a
duplicate.
negative. You know?
Yeah, it's exactly a negative. Yeah, that's
Please,
literally
please
all I did in
consider
my
it because I
Photoshop.
would, I would buy a deck of these. I would buy a deck of these. These are good
Yeah,
looking.
maybe a special edition print because they
Oh
are
yeah,
super slick. Negative space the
oh,
box
yeah,
too. Like, ooh, that would be pretty tough. And
yeah.
then the hard one for me was this. It was between this and a double backer. But to be honest, I don't often find myself using a double backer. And I love blank cards for printing effects, wild card effects, that little the whole where the whole deck's misprinted, right?
Sky's the limit with
Reverse
a blank
fan
card.
stuff. Yeah, and then even you can make your own gaps with it. If you don't use a blank card, you can write message on it. You can do the your card gag. You can do all kinds of
Happy
stuff with
birthday.
the blank,
If you're out here
right?
gigging and you're doing a birthday or
That
somebody's
reminds me.
wedding or there's like I
That
said,
reminds
so
me. I
many
feel like I
possibilities.
saw. Yeah, by the way, speaking of birthdays, I popped open Facebook today, and it's your birthday today.
It is
Is
my
that
birthday
right?
today. Yes.
Happy birthday, brother! Happy
Thank
birthday!
you,
Yeah, I
brother. I
saw that. I
appreciate
popped
that.
open Facebook this morning, and it said it. I was like, oh man, that's why you're dropping so many videos today. I like it. I'm excited for the the later video on the white lions. That looks
Yeah.
cool because I
Then
I've got
I'm trying to go out with everything I can. I have the white lines right here. I've been a big fan of the white lines for years. Big fan of David Blaine, but it is a very honest review. I go through a lot of the older white lines as well, showing some of the differences between all the cards, and it is very honest. Which is something I think it really shouldn't be like a sort of brand loyalty. Just be honest, and I think that'll help
totally.
people improve if there's anything that they missed or Um, I don't get sponsored
Yeah,
for anything. I don't even get paid for this channel. I do it for the love of magic. So
100%,
I'm here
man.
for that. You know.
Yeah, bro. I respect it. I'm excited for it, man. Because I got one deck of white lions. They're like the red ones,
Yeah.
the red with the white with the
Series
spades
B.
on the back. I don't know what they're. Sorry, Series B. Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yeah, the marking system's so yeah, those ones. They're so cool, but it's like so hard.
You know,
But it's cool, super
I'm
cool.
gonna be honest with you. It took me so long to like really be able to see them, and so
Yeah,
this is another thing I bring up. There's actually there's more than one way to read it,
yeah. I
which
actually
is
did hear about that.
interesting.
I do know. Yeah,
One way is not good for my eyes, personally. It's just not good for my
yeah,
eyes.
yeah,
The other way is a lot easier for me, and I've gotten pretty good at it. I'm not, perfect or super quick with it, but I
yeah.
think it's pretty smart. It's pretty slick.
You know, that's the deck that if I have someone over at the house and they're asking me about magic and somehow like they're like, oh, show me something or show me something cool or like some either the concept of marked decks. That's the one I always show people because they're always like, what the
No
heck?
way.
Like, and no one can see it either. They can't even see it, so they're like,
I'm telling you.
so but I'll expose it and be like, here, this is like a super cool system that's used, and they're like, it just blows their mind. That's what I use that deck for the most, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, I did have a question about the deck, and just before I do, I just wanted to show off the flaps. We got the OG for the RF Lights OG, and then we got the uh, two little logos on the flaps, which I think is a nice little touch. But what I wanted to ask you, so what do you think of the colors? And actually, if you have a deck of bikes,
Okay.
This is where you'll really notice it because you might look at these and you probably have a good eye for this. You
You
might be
want
able
you
to
want
tell,
modern
but
bikes, or do you want like the old school Ohio?
just modern. I think whatever's good because I want you to see it like right next to it. So
I've got just
in terms
regular
of the color scheme,
standard.
so I actually perfect, yeah. So I actually, I'm not a enough of an artist, and I had to look into like what are the rules. Like I didn't know if I could use the bicycle standard faces because MPC
I
has their
think
own
they're in the
like
public
standard.
domain, aren't they?
They are, yeah. So I didn't
Okay.
I didn't know what the rules were. So I
Right.
was looking, and at first, like I was gonna like, oh, MPC has their own standard faces, but dude, they're so ugly. They're so ugly. So I was like,
Okay.
so then I found out
Already
actually for
off the
like
rip, I can see some differences.
yeah.
Um,
So here, just a quick tip for people: if anyone's wanting to print their own deck, Daniel Schneider, who have you interviewed him?
no, I
You
need to
did?
though. He's on my list.
Yeah,
Black roses,
yeah. So
love black
he
roses.
yeah. So shout out to Kevin Booth. But Kevin at Blackpool, I was like, dude, I don't know what to do, but I want standard faces, but I don't know where to get them. He's like, Daniel Schneider on his website sells them for like $30, super cheap. And you just get all the digital renders of his hand drawn standard faces, and they're beautiful.
Professional.
And so yeah, let's see. So what differences do you see, and what do you think of them? It's very
Shout out
subtle, but
Kevin Booth. I want to interview him as well, eventually, probably in the
I
future.
could hook you. I could set you up with them. I could set you up with them if you
That'd be
if
awesome,
you
bro. You
haven't
know,
got in touch yet.
a suggestion that somebody gave me. People who I talk. I usually become pretty good friends with the people I interview. And a lot of people have told me I need to start asking people, hey, who do you suggest I interview next? Because I think that's actually a pretty good idea. So I'm thinking to start doing that.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So
Good.
first thing I noticed, the font themselves, if I were to compare two cards, like let's do the 9 of diamonds real quick. The font themselves are nearly identical, it looks like. I
Should
don't
be a
see
perfect one-to-one
any
match.
difference whatsoever in the
Should be
font
a perfect
sizing.
match.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So the only slight difference is, if you can actually see it here, is there's a slight thinnerness to the font itself, and it's so
Mm.
slight that you really can't tell, but you have to like look up close at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ever so slightly thinner. Like
So the big thing. So these should be generally like perfect
you can't
one-to-one
tell.
with bicycle for the most part. And
Yes, yeah.
but the big thing I went is the colors. So the colors, the
Next
red is
thing I
the
was gonna
biggest
bring up.
change. Yeah.
Yeah, you can see that there.
So
Especially with the red.
the bikes have the really uh I
Almost
think
like a
kind of
neon red.
yeah, it's kind of ugly
Orange.
to be honest.
Yeah.
It's very
Now
like
I've always
orangey
been a
almost,
fan
whereas
of the darker red. I've always
the
liked like a
cherry
red.
red. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the cherry red, which I think makes a huge difference. And if you compare the
Uh,
court cards, you should be able to notice a little bit of differences with the other
okay. Let's
colors
do. I have the jack
slightly.
of
The
diamonds
the
here.
black's the same, obviously,
Yes.
but if you look, so you can see um,
And the
sort of
yellows.
a
Yeah.
deeper blue, a more gold yellow. It's a little less like their yellow is very yellowy. This
Right.
is a little more gold, a little more subtle, but I think it's really nice. And the blue is a little darker than the bicycle, which makes it pop a little bit. But again, they're so similar because they
It's
are basically it is the same. It's just tone changes.
it's a little more muted. So where this is like vibrant to the point where it's like, whoa. But
Yeah,
it's
overpowering. Yeah,
a standard bike deck. I mean,
yeah.
what are you gonna do?
So
I mean,
these are like
I've always loved the darker tones, in my personal opinion.
yeah.
Um,
That's really the only difference is just those. I just changed the tones on the blues, the yellows, and the reds because I just thought
right,
it's just the bicycle. These look a little more professional. I think a little more muted, a little more, but they're still
right.
very punchy with the
Little more
color, but
subtle.
just
I
like a
think it would
nice.
be right.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think of the Ace of Spades? That's the only other. That's the only custom face card.
I love it. It's simple, right? It's simple. but I mean, in comparison to, of course, the original bike here, it's
Yeah,
simple.
I'm
Yeah, I
super
mean,
happy with how that
every
turned out.
every deck of cards, the most custom card is usually the ace of spades, right?
Yep.
I mean,
So
I really like the design. It's
Next Gen Spawn just asked, where can we get these superb cards? So, my friend, these are the RF Slights OG playing cards available at my website, rfslights.com. So, rfsleights.com. I can't
now
comment in this
next
chat,
gen
can I?
spawn. He is the gentleman that I do the podcast with, which I'll be doing tonight at
Oh,
eight
amazing.
p.m. Yes, he
Make sure you
also
guys tune
on
in.
his channel he reviews playing cards. That's sort of his thing. That's his stick. That's so
Oh,
we
amazing.
got
I would
we
love
got to
for
get
him
him
to
one of
give
these
these a review.
decks.
For sure. I would love for him to give these a review. Yeah, man. So that's kind of the way around the deck. Feel wise, like they faro super well. I don't know if you've given that a try,
That's
or
exactly what I
kind of
was
the.
thinking next. You've read my mind. It's like you're some kind of mentalist or something.
I might be, my friend.
All right, let's check these out. Oh, okay. So just so everyone can see, perfect Pharaoh, of
Yes,
course.
sir.
Oh yeah. So that was
You know,
face up. Let's try the other direction. But that's something
yeah,
that with every deck, usually one direction is a little bit better. Let's see. Okay,
I
not an
find he's
issue.
pretty good in both.
Not an issue. Can perfect
Not an
Pharaoh
issue.
both ways. That to me is a testament of the quality of the playing cards for sure. Always. Also a good dribble.
So, what
Yeah.
about the snap compared to
Red.
bikes? What do you notice differently? Because I've noticed a couple of little differences in the stock with MPC versus USPCC. And to be honest, I kind of like everything MPC is doing. You know, with their stocks.
It's thicker. It's thicker. It's more
Snappier, right?
right. It's a little bit more snappier. So these are a little bit more soft, which to
Yeah.
me, when you have the playing cards that are a little bit more soft, the problem with that is they wear out quickly. So
Bingo.
with a thicker stock, like for example, Theory 11 has a really thick stock. Those cards tend to last longer. It is a little bit more difficult to do certain things, where a softer deck
Yeah.
is. It's like you got to find that middle ground. But the problem is, if you are going to spend more than what is this? Like I think this is like what $3, 350 maybe at at your convenience store or Walmart or wherever, Costco, Target, wherever you're going to go. So if you're going to spend a little bit
Yeah.
extra money on a custom deck, you're going to want it to last longer. You're not going to want
For
it to
sure, man.
last as long as a regular bike deck of bikes. I mean, get what you pay
100%.
for.
And definitely. And so I found in my test that this is about 3 cards thicker than a bike of deck. So if you take it to a 49 card deck, 50, 49, then it feels exactly the same thickness as a full deck of bikes, just to give people a sense. So if you take 3 away from my deck, then you'll get the same thickness
Oh,
so a full
am
deck
I
of
doing?
bikes compared, yeah.
Let's see here.
2 or 3. I think kind of 3 feels like the right spot, just to give people a sense of like the thickness.
Just for comparison's sake. Yeah, bro, that's about spot on. I don't know if they're gonna be able to catch that on the
Yeah,
camera. See if I can line that up, but that's about
yeah,
exactly spot on right there. Let me pinch these.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So just to give you a sense, it's a very small difference, but if you've been a card worker for a while, you'll definitely be able to tell because we've got all
yeah.
these little, you know, feelings in our fingers. But I found that the big thing with these is the durability is crazy, man, because this linen finish, like whatever. So just to give people a sense, so MPC have a bunch of different finishes. I got to meet the team at Blackpool this year. They had a stand there, so I got to try out all their different stocks in person with a full deck. and I found that this was my favorite stock that they had. Um, and I think it's really nice. It's really snappy, and like Brandon says, that snap, when you're constantly bending the cards as we are and
Right.
doing stuff like this, having a thicker stock allows them to rebound and last longer, where you don't get that like permanent bend in your deck and like all this stuff that you get over time. And the other thing is that they have two finishes. So they have their standard finish and their beta finish. Technically, I don't know like what they do that's different. It's probably something to do with the patterns of the air cushions, but
Right.
or maybe it's the gloss that they use to finish it. But what I do know is that these ones are. So when I was talking to them, they said typically for like smoother is our beta finish, and so I went
Right.
with that. And like for me, these are almost like a little too slippery out of the box. But what that means is the second you play around with them for a little bit and get some of your
Trust
oils
them.
on
Yeah.
them and a little bit of yeah, then they're like so slick and they last for so long slick too. Because
Right.
that's what really kills a deck. When I change out a deck when they start clumping, these like I've been using this deck for months, way longer than I'd use a deck of bikes, and it's still like that perfect slippery smooth now, you know?
Yeah.
So I found the durability with these to be top notch, you know?
I
And NPC is a great company, man. Like, if you have if anyone's interested in the process that I went through, do you think that's interesting about like the manufacturing and some of those kind of things? Like,
yeah.
so like, I mean, so NPC they're a company in China, and they're a pretty big playing card manufacturer. And price wise, like if you're like for me, I'm doing it on my own. I can't order a thousand decks with USPCC. That's their order minimum. But MPC, you can order even one. So to give you a sense, I ended up going through two prototypes. So I ordered two singles, and then I made my full purchase. The second prototype was perfect, and then I was able to make that. So they've got a very good team. Obviously there's a little bit of a language barrier, but if you're, besides that, they were very responsive. They were, even when I submitted my first prototype, they're like, "Hey, this is not centered properly. This is not going to work," before they printed it. So they were, I was able to make the changes. Um, and they've got so many options. I also, as you see, like I didn't go with a sticker on the box because I hate stickers. So they make the boxes all, messed up and they don't look good. But you get stickers, you can get uncut sheets, all kinds of different types of
That's
boxes.
definitely a hot
And
take. I know some people are like, "Oh, I gotta have the sticker."
yeah, nah, man, I don't like it. I don't like it. The nice clean, just pop it
No, I
open and
think
you're
a
good to
lot of
go,
it
right?
has to do with how you cut the sticker. Because I know when
True.
people cut them straight, that makes a mess. I hate that. I'm very
Yeah.
very strict on how I cut my sticker because they need to look like it one piece when you know.
Yeah. No,
Um,
for sure. I personally, yeah, hot take a little bit. I don't like seals. Madison was the first person I saw not shipping his deck with seals, and I was like, I love that personally. But I'm a little bit maybe OCD about that. Like if I don't like it, I try to like take it off, and then leaves sticky, and I'm like, "Ah, I don't like it. I don't like it on. I don't like it off after." So,
Mark
um,
Stutzman
but
has
they
a really good. I forgot what chemical it is that he uses, but it can remove the adhesive
adhesive.
from the stickers
Yeah.
like very well without damaging the box.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, because there's you know, NPC. So they're really great. Just to give people a sense, like of course with these kind of things when you're manufacturing, the more you order, the lower the cost of each deck is going to be to get manufactured. So that's important. But they've got a really easy system to use online. The shipping was no issues getting to Canada and very smooth, and their quality is really top notch. And if you're just ordering
Yeah.
smaller batches, they're some of the best prices you can find. They're
Now I want to talk about that
pri-
because back in the day there was a taboo about Chinese manufactured playing cards because like everyone else, when they first start off, you're trying to figure everything out. One thing I've noticed is
yep,
Chinese manufacturing of playing cards has got scary good to the point where
so
everybody
good.
else is going to have to start stepping their game up because they have gotten really good. Uh, I mean, I think I even brought this point up in that video that you mentioned about the bicycle, marked cards, all the different varying uh, models they have out there. So there is a like a counterfeit deck of the
Mm.
the Ultimate Mark deck by Magic Dream
Hmm.
Paris, and the quality is very good. Now it's not the same, but it's surprisingly and shockingly good to the point we're like, hold on, wait a minute, these aren't supposed to be that good. What's going on here?
Yeah,
And that's just that's a company that's making a counterfeit. So you actually have a company making legit playing cards, uh, and
for sure.
they're and I've seen the difference because I've gotten some of these older decks, and I mean, just look at this. I mean, there's a big, huge difference. They have stepped up their
Well,
game
I think
to another level.
that's the whole thing about it being counterfeit, where like a lot of stuff coming from China early on is counterfeit,
Right.
right? It's meant
Yeah.
to, they're replicas. They're not like MPC's a professional company that makes
Exactly. Right.
professional grade playing cards, right?
So
So
when the
it's
counterfeits
all
are
legit.
getting that good, and you have an actual reputable company, I mean, this is better than the counterfeit, and the counterfeits are so
Oh, way
good.
better.
So I mean,
Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
it's just you can't judge a book by its cover, and get them in your hands, play with them. You're going to be very surprised if you're still in that mindset of thinking that Chinese playing cards are not good, because they are obviously
for
are.
sure, man. Yeah, these are awesome. Personally, like I've been using these for a few months now, and I don't know. I pick up a deck of bikes, and I'm just used to it. And I don't know. I kind of like the durability. I like the feel. I gotta say, these are like the smoothness when I'm second dealing whatever. It's just I like them. I think it might be my new faves this stock.
They are definitely high quality. That's for sure. I'm gonna have to break these
Yeah, man.
puppies in, and I'm gonna get back to you. And I might even have to just do like a long term review. I've these like RF Slights deck after 3 months of use, type of thing.
That'd be cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'd love that. That'd be cool. That'd be super cool.
So
Uh,
first of all, like I said, you can tell right off the bat when you ferro the playing cards if they're good quality. Like I said, if they ferro from front to back and back to front off the rip,
mhm.
you got something good on your hands.
Yeah, totally, man.
And these are awesome. So
I
uh,
appreciate it, man.
yeah. All right, I'm getting a little distracted. I can't just keep playing with them.
All good. All good.
Supposed to be doing an
All good.
interview here, man.
All good. Well, thank you for showing these off on the channel, man. I appreciate it. It's been a
For
really fun
sure.
journey creating this, and I feel like I learned a whole lot because I just I had no idea how to make a deck of cards, and then I
What
just
was the most
learned, figured it out.
surprising thing that you ran into when it comes to creating your own deck of playing cards?
I would say, um, figuring out how easy it is, was really surprising to me. Like, because it
Huh.
is like manufacturing to me always seemed like such a it's like you have an idea, you're like, oh, I want to make a keychain that does this and or that, or I want to it's like, where do you even start? Like, do I have to go dig up for the materials, and like, what do I have to bring them to, like, like I just have no idea about manufacturing, right? So then I knew that there's these companies out here that can print playing cards, but I'm like, well, I know a fair amount about graphic design and computers. I'm like, do I send them PDFs? Do I need vectors? Do I need PNGs? Like, what quality do I need? How do they print? How do we decide on the stock? How do I even make the face cards were the big thing. I'm like, how am I going to make a Queen of Hearts? Like, do I have to draw it myself? Like, like I can't really draw that well. I'm like I didn't, pretty naive. And so then just talking with MPC and starting the process, and they have a pretty, like, most of the help was, I'd say there's three things that really helped. MPC's website has a great description about what kind of files you need. Here are templates you can use. Here's what you need to keep in mind. Here's our bleed areas so that your cards are not off center, and that here's where our printing lines are. So they were really
Uh,
helpful.
Spoiler alert: Nicest playing card company is always off center.
Yeah, yeah.
God, I love them, but
And
man, they are
so
always off center.
always off center for sure. These ones did really good. These ones turned out really good. They're very, very, very centered. Um,
Oh yeah, they
and the borders are like perfect. Um, and so then it was the faces, and again, shout out to Daniel Schneider and Cavan for letting me
did.
know about that, because the
Yeah,
faces were the part where I was like, oh, I can just buy the faces, and now I have all the files, and I can tweak the colors in Photoshop on my end, and now I can. If I want to make the custom ace, I can erase the spade in the middle and import my logo, and like I can do some graphic design now that I have the base for it. And so getting all that, and then MPC's got a great tool where you build out your deck. So it's like all 55 playing cards on a sheet. And you have the fronts and the backs, and you just drag and drop your photos onto it, and you can organize it and everything, and then like almost see it on the screen before you get it printed. Um, and then just yeah, the sort of going through the process was like pretty cool. Like for coming up with the back design, like these were I had a couple inspirations, like the big one being Daniel Madison's rounders. These are pretty similar in
yeah,
design to those, and those were a big inspiration in terms of the look that I was going for. I always loved those cards as like a sleek, subtle design, and I thought it just fits super nicely. The box was a tricky one too, like because I wanted this to be a simple branded deck. It's like how much is too much, right?
right.
So I think I struck a pretty decent balance here. At one point, I thought about, doing this kind of thing on the back of the box, but I just felt it was too much, too many logos. I like just the sleek matte black looks really nice on the back, and I think I struck a good balance. So it was quite a fun process.
Now that I remember, it was Phil Smith who also recommended MPC for getting some stuff printed as well. I remember him
They
recommending
are
that when I was trying to get a tuck
a
box.
lot of people are using them now. Yeah, a lot of people are using them. They're a great company.
So, tell us what else do you have going on right now? I know you've got a lot going on.
Where do we start, man? Yeah. I guess the biggest piece of news would be the work on AGT, which is really exciting. I can't really get into too much of it, but all that I can say is that I do a fair amount of consulting work. So, I started doing private lessons. That was something I started doing years and years ago.
Right.
And over time, that built up into something pretty successful. And now I do lessons with magicians all over the world weekly. And just a lot of people were just working on. It ranges. Some people literally aren't interested in performing. They just want to have structured learning the right way, and just building the repertoire and learning magic for themselves. Some people are almost complete newbies who I'm working with. And then
Right.
it works all the way up to people who are professionals, working on their act, strength, solidifying things. Um, and so then there's the consulting work that I do. So I work with different people on their, I'm pretty creative, so helping people with ideas for shows, script writing, bigger things like that. And then I've actually launched a newer thing in the last month. It's super low key. I never talk about it. I don't advertise it. If you're interested, you kind of got to go looking for it. But it's actually a mentorship program. So
Mm.
it's a full hands-on 6 month to a year program. With we can extend it further if you'd like, but that's kind of the minimums. And it's basically focused on developing a business in magic. So if you're interested in
Wow, really?
uh, getting gigs, if you're interested in putting together a show, it's really tailored to what your goals are, but it can cover anything from having me put together a full 1 hour show or whatever length you need, but a full show for you, script writing, helping you with all your close-up material, getting sets for your close-up with social media, branding, getting gigs, character, whatever it is. But it's sort of the next evolution of the private lessons. And so it's a program that's available. There's some more info on my website. So I've had some clients. I'm working with some clients on that, and then the consulting. So the consulting, I'm working. Well, this is actually private lessons. I got people I'm helping them with their Magic Castle act. So all kinds of stuff. But the consulting, working with some different people on their shows and things like that, and then starting to get into some more TV work, which is super cool. So AGT being a big thing, some people may or may not know this, but no magician goes on AGT alone with just their own ideas, for the most part. And so, what am I allowed to say? Okay, so a good friend of mine, Cameron Marshall, who you've seen on the channel a little
Is
bit,
someone else
and
I've watched their videos and as they've become more and more popular, and hopefully I've already talked to them. Hopefully they will be able to join for an interview sometime.
yeah, we were talking about this last night. We were at Penn and Teller last night. They were in Toronto.
Nice.
Um, yeah, super good show, man. I was thoroughly impressed, even at their age. Really good, really, really good. And so we were there last night, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm sitting down with B-DoN tomorrow for an interview." He's like, "Oh yeah, he messaged me. I need to get back to him." So he wants to do it. So we'll set that up for sure. Um, Maybe once some of his stuff
Whenever it's
airs, which
more
I'll get
most
into in a minute.
convenient, because I understand got a lot going on.
Oh, dude. Well, let me tell you a little bit about it. So basically, what I'm allowed to say is he was interested in auditioning for AGT. We got confirmation at some point that he was going to be given an audition, and the he's like, "Hey, like I'm interested. I need a consultant. I know you're one of the best at consulting. We're good friends, so it just kind of makes sense. Would you consult for me?" I'm like, "I would love to." You know, and so it's been a super crazy journey. But basically, we found out that he's going to get the audition about 10 days before they needed to fly him out to audition.
Oh wow.
So as a consultant, at that point, my mind is saying, well, we need to find something that he already does very well and just tune it up for TV a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And so his audition is going to air um, likely in the next 4 weeks, probably in 4 weeks from now. So right now, AGT first episode of the season aired on Tuesday, so it's airing every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And his audition, we're not 100% sure, but we've been told is likely going to be the 5th week, so in another 4 weeks from now. So I think it's like the first week of July, something like that, and
Okay.
that'll be his audition. um, so I can't tell you how it went, but it went quite well, is what I will say. I can't get into much more than that, but um, we we've been. Here's what I can say. I can't tell you where. I'm not allowed to say where things are at in the show, how far along things have gotten, what level, which stage we've made it to. Um, but we're working really hard right now. So I'll leave you with that. So, we're super busy coming up with ideas and getting things ready for some really exciting stuff, which will all be coming out soon with the show. And you know what? Once you guys see this audition, which that I can talk a little bit more about, but
Right.
like the interesting thing, Brandon, is that they told us going into the show that like we've been told for the last 3, 4, 5 years, like no more card magicians on AGT. And Cameron is the definition of a card magician. He doesn't
Yeah.
do anything except cards, like
I
he
love his
literally shows
impromptu
up to
work. Like
gigs.
I'm a big fan of that.
Dude, it's crazy. He fried me last night. What did he do? He gave me a deck, my deck I was holding. We had two other decks on the table, legit last night. He's like, shuffle yours. I'm like, "Oop," just drop them all over the floor. He's like, shuffle it. So I'm like shuffling it. And then he's like, okay, start dealing face up and just stop wherever you want. So I just go through and I just flipped it over and it was like the four of hearts. And he's like, you want to stop there? I'm like, that's where I want to stop. and he just turns over the top card of all three other decks. There it was the four of hearts. I have no
Wow.
explanation. Like, just he does that stuff to me all the time. I just don't get it. But
So good.
he's so talented with a deck of cards, and but they're like, we like the odds were really stacked against us in that sense, because they're like, yeah, we've been done too much. We don't. It's not exciting for TV, and so we took the kind of gamble, and we were like, no, we'll show them card magic can still be exciting. And so far, we've really been able to show that. And there's a part of me and him that, like, I mean, he'll literally walk up to like a fully paid corporate event with like a deck of cards that the box is like torn open, and it's like the most raggedy deck of cards, because he wants like that authentic feeling, and he can, like, he'll do like just crazy stuff with a deck of cards, right? Because he's so talented, particularly at some of these super fair forces. He's got that Danny Ortiz, just like, it just works out for him. He's just a lucky guy, And so we took that to AGT, man. The act he did, magicians, I think, are gonna see that and be like, that is the most ballsy act. Like, dude, everything could have went wrong with that audition. It was There's about 15 classic forces in that audition, timing
Wow.
forces, this, that, like, and he nailed it. And it's just a testament. And we really wanted to, and we want to keep it going forward, if it goes forward. Uh, we want to
I
keep
agree. Like when
things
I watch him and I see him do some of these things, and even knowing what it is that he's doing, it's still fooling because it's how he does it. It's just like, come on, it's so fluid, so nonchalant, so natural. It's wonderful. I love it.
totally, man.
Yeah.
Totally. And it's a matter now of, you know, we're going to do some stuff that has not been seen before on AGT to that level, and some stuff that's never been seen at all. And then
Oh, I can't
just
wait,
we're gonna go and win this thing with a deck of cards, man. Like, that's the goal.
brother.
Like, we just want to show
I'm
people,
rooting for
like,
the home team, brother. I love it.
I appreciate it, man. I think we'll be able to, like, there's a few magicians we know. There's several who have done, you know, fairly decently, and were on the show this and are going to be on the show this year. But man, the stuff I think the magic community, once they see the stuff we're doing, it's just, they're going to respect it. Just like, it's not like it's like what you said. It's stuff that, like, you might be like, okay, I think I know what he's doing, but like, at that level on that stage, just crazy. And then we got some
And
just
like you said, it's
insane
that ballsy type of
stuff.
magic that it's so risky that in the back of your head, I'm like, nah, I can't be doing that.
But he is. Whatever you think he's doing is exactly what he's doing, man. It's so crazy, so crazy. So I'm super excited, man. So that's going to be a big thing. We're working really hard to start promoting that. We just, dropped a video. We're gonna be trying to take, like, because again, we really respect the magic community. Me and him, like, we're, me in particular. I'm a part of the community. I got a little bit of a voice, and I want to be able to, like, take people along for the journey. Hint hint, because there is a bit of a journey here, and so there's going to be, I want to take people along. And so we're going to be, as things hopefully keep moving forward, we're going to be taking people along, making videos before and after each audition, explaining ideas, about all the different acts and how we've come up with things, and some little, maybe some hidden Easter eggs too, and like, just bringing people along for the journey of AGT, because, like, that's never been done before either. Like, being able to follow along during the journey, right? So
Yeah,
we
I
we
was gonna
we
tell
got
you
some
too.
cool
If you
stuff.
guys have any material, whatever you can send me that I can help promote, send it to me, bro. I'll root for the team, my man.
Appreciate it, man. Yeah, we should. So in about 2 or 3 weeks, we should be getting all the material for the audition from
Okay.
AGT. So they'll have a bunch of social media stuff. So I'll see what I can send you for sure, man.
And
Yeah, we'd appreciate
posters,
that.
whatever you guys can send to me, I'll put out there.
I appreciate it, brother. Yeah, we really want to get the backing of the magic community. We feel like, out of all the acts, we're going to be able to get the backing of the magic community, because we're just we're doing like it's like we're almost doing classics, but we're like doing it in such a different way. But it's still like the magicians watching it because like can see it and be like, damn, I could do that. Like it's almost that feeling of like you could do it. You really could. It's
So
just such a high level.
it's funny you mentioned that because I feel like when I watch magicians that do that at that level, and when I watch that and think, oh, you know, I sort of like enjoy the magic more knowing
Mm,
it's something that I could do, but it's being done at such a high, well done level. And like I said, you almost get like an admiration, for watching
yeah.
those types of performances, at least for me.
And what we found is like going into it with already knowing that all of the producers, the judges, assume that we're just card magician or he's just a card magician. And they already have it in their heads that this is like we've seen this before. So now it's like taking ideas and again, Cameron is truly a card magician. Like when we first met, I could do like I mean, what's the most common mentalism like thing of all time? Like a billet peak, and like
All right,
he just you know he just loves cards, and that's all he does, and that's why he's so good at it. And so like that's what we're working with but it's in the best way possible because now you know we've really like we've shocked some of the people on the show with what we've been able to come up with because we know what we're up against. So now we know the quality of the card magic. We can't just go out there and do, you know, um, a twisting the aces or something. Like
right, right,
we're
right,
gonna take some of these classics or these some of these general plots you'll recognize in there, but just taking it up to new levels, and that's where I kind of come in. And Cameron's got a lot of great ideas too, but that's really where I'm coming in as like taking these plots, using some of the creativity to think about how can we turn these into something bigger? How can we take a oil and water and just make it the most mind-blowing thing you've ever seen, right?
right.
And just like layers and layers. And so we've taken the approach of just assault them with magic basically and it's crazy, man. Like some of the stuff it's going to be truly mind-blowing, so super exciting, man. But it's super busy. It's keeping us all busy, which is good. And then I got some big projects in the works right now too, so it's like
Anything you
all
can
over the
share?
place. Yeah, so the big thing that's coming is Trident. Have you heard anything about it?
No.
Does that ring a bell?
Uh-uh.
Oh man. So I should show it to you after the live. I can't
Okay.
I can't perform it. If we weren't live, I would perform it for you, and then we could clip part of it. So, did you see any of my Blackpool videos?
No, I haven't. Uh,
No. Okay. So, um, Trident is this thing that I've been working on for the last, I think, since Blackpool the year before. So, yeah, I remember I had the idea for it on the plane ride home from Blackpool. Um, and so it's a big release. It's coming. Let's say in a month. I haven't officially announced the date. I have a good idea. No, let's do an exclusive. Let's do an exclusive for B-DoN. We're
all right.
thinking the
You
plan
heard
is
it
if
here,
all goes
exclusive.
according to plan, the official launch for
Mhm.
Trident is going to be July 5th. July 5th.
July
The
5th.
trailer's going to drop. Yeah. So in about a
Can you
month.
tell us what
We still got a
the
little more.
plot is, or is it like,
Yeah. So yeah, let me tell you a little bit about it. So it's a mentalism effect, but it's not like anything else that I have come across or many people have seen in this way. So I love the genre of propless mentalism. Right? It's as a creative, that is one of the things that excites me the most, and I think it's the idea of chasing the holy grail. Right? It's like
yeah,
a can. To me, propless mentalism is like a can for a deck of cards. It's like that mythical effect, and Propolis is more of a genre, but there's like a mythical effect within that of being able to read any thought someone has with nothing on you and no gimmicks and just like now that is real mentalism, right? That is what the holy grail of mentalism would be. And so there's been a lot of propless mentalism. And do you do much mentalism?
I do some mentalism, but I that is an area
Some.
that is not my expertise, but I dabble.
Yeah. So there's things like one of my favorite propless pieces, and I think where propless thrives is with simpler stuff. So when there's a so what a lot of newer propless mentalism and stuff, what they try to do is they try to restrict you into a box, right? So they try to say, okay, Brandon, think of a country, but think of one that's really warm and it's overseas and it's in this northern hemisphere and and it's just like
Right,
until you're in like a
breaking
super
it
small
down.
box. Now, the challenge and where I think Propolis often thrives is when that box is just naturally, organically there. So one of the best would be something like star signs, where organically there's just 12 of them, right? So it's
Right,
like there can't be more. So it's just, hey, think of your star sign. There's no restriction because that's just what it is, right? And so Pete Turner's got an awesome Propolis star sign anagram system that I've been
I
using
actually
for
know what you're
years. I've
referring
got a
to.
lot. Yeah, I got a lot of mileage out of it, one of the best. And that's where I think it thrives. Now, there's a lot of really cool ideas and methods within the Propolis space that have come out, especially some more recent ones. And one thing that's been sort of popular right now is the idea of a propless word guess. So just think of a word and guessing it with no props, right? Which again is like basically the holy grail as far as I'm
Miracle, yeah.
concerned in mentalism, right? And so there's been several, at least three that have come out very recently, and all of them, and not even to speak, necessarily negatively on any of these, but just in general with propolis mentalism, if the range of things is super wide, then the process has to be incredibly onerous. Um, I don't know if you've ever heard of train tracking by Atlas Brooking. Does that ring a
No.
bell? So Atlas is an incredible mentalist, and train tracking is possibly one of the biggest advancements ever that was done in propolis mentalism. It was just a concept that allowed to guess any word propolisly, but the process was extremely demanding. And there's a video recently on the Daily Magician. They interviewed him and he actually performed it. So you can see kind of how it
Okay.
looks. And, when done well, it is pretty incredible, but it is very process intensive. And that's just the reality of it, right? When you have thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of things, millions of things people could be thinking of course, there has to be a lot of process to work your way down. And then I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but I think it's a good sort of setup to the scene here. And then the other side of it is some of the other ones that have come out are again we're falling into the other category of they're any object, but there's really a big cap on what that can be, right? So there's other methods at play, whether psychological or even more direct, that are really restricting the choices that the spectators have. So I was sitting on the plane back in 2025, coming home from Blackpool, and I was like, let me think more on this propless word guess thing. And one thing so I thought, what are the two best at the time? Because all three of these new methods I'm talking about have come out in the last year, so they weren't even out. And I was like, what is the best that exists currently? And the two that popped into my mind, or the three, would be train tracking, Lexicon by Fedon Bilek, and Enigma by Christian Grace. Now, Enigma has an asterisk. I don't know if you must have heard of Enigma. It was
Yeah,
fairly
yeah.
uh, popular at the time when it came out. Enigma has an asterisk because it's an app, right? So it feels propless. The performance very much feels like there's no phone involved, but on the
So it
back end, the
isn't.
phone is helping you. Um, and Lexicon by Fedon Bilek is really good, but again, there's some really cool principles, but it's fairly restrictive, but it's really well put together. Train tracking is very free, but extremely complicated. I don't know anyone else who actually performs it besides Atlas, just because of you know he's the master of it and
Yeah.
the amount of work you need to put in, type of thing, right? The one that stuck out to me, funny enough, was Enigma, though, because I think Enigma is a brilliant idea. And without exposing anything, um, essentially, what's the core sort of one sentence summary of Enigma would be it's allowing you to obtain certain information that the spectator wouldn't think you could use to figure out their word, but it's using the incredible technology that we have at our advantage. Um, not AI or anything. This was, I think, even kind of before AI was big. It's not using AI or anything like that, but it's using a logic based system, I guess you would say, and it gives you what the possibilities are of the word. And so it's a really neat idea. And again, the issue with that is that it oftentimes, like, it's one of those things again that Christian can do really well, but it's still pretty tricky. It oftentimes you'll get like 50 options of what they could be thinking of, and then you got to start trying to fish and like,
narrow it
so they're,
down.
but really cool ideas. But anyway, so I'm sitting on this plane, and that little nugget of sort of enigma, I think of it like a language. And so I love this idea of, and this is the way I describe Trident, which is my new project, where I say, Brandon, like, imagine, do you speak any other languages? First of all,
Yes, Spanish.
Spanish. Okay, so um, imagine. So I don't really speak Spanish. So imagine that I don't even know Spanish is a language. Let's say, like, I don't even know it exists at all, right?
Okay.
But you know Spanish fluently, and I can, and somehow, and again, this is, I don't know how this would work, but just for a thought experiment, somehow you could code, like, I could think of a word, and then you could code me to and show me how to translate my word into Spanish. Now, to me, I just have a gibberish word in my head because I don't even know Spanish is a language. To me, it's just some gibberish word, and somehow, whether it's like some kind of crib system or code or whatever it is, I could convert my word into Spanish, but I have no idea that it's Spanish, and I don't even, like, it's just da 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 da. Like, that's what's in my head. I don't even know what the word is, right? So now, if I just said that word out loud to you, well, you know Spanish, so you'd know exactly what I'm thinking of. But to me, I just said gibberish, and somehow you know what I'm thinking of, right? I was like, there's something there with like converting into languages. And anyway, that's nothing like what Trident is, but it was I want to give you a little bit about the egg that planted the seed. And eventually, and I won't say too much because, I mean, a lot will be revealed, but essentially what Trident is to say is, I think the best work on a propless word guess. It is a freely thought of word that can be divined with no props, no apps, nothing on you. I think it's quite deceptive. It's super fun. And the best part is it is extremely easy to learn. It
Now
is
that is
very
something
light on
I
the
need in my life.
process.
I
Yeah. Yeah.
use prompts when I do mentalism. I'm not that great with it's it's very process heavy. A lot of propless mentalism. It's a lot of work to be
For
put in,
sure.
and even when it comes to card magic, I don't have a lot of extra time to put in the work, so I do what I can when I can. So
Yeah.
this sounds like something pretty amazing that I would love to get my hands on. So let me ask
100%, man.
you
Yeah.
this.
So
Let me ask you this. Uh, if you were to take someone with no experience in mentalism whatsoever and teach them Trident, uh, how easy or difficult would the process be?
dude, you are a mind reader, I think, because this is exactly the question I asked myself. And I said, I think that's exactly what people would want to know. So, another little sneak peek as part of the release. So, on July 5th, the trailer is dropping and it's going up for pre order. And it's going to be or pre sale. It's going to be on sale for the first month. Within that month, I'm going to be dropping weekly videos all related to Trident. And one of them is me sitting down with Cameron, the non-mentalist, teaching him on camera. So I speed through it, like, you won't hear it, but there won't be any cuts. You'll see me speed through teaching him with a stopwatch timer. And if I remember correctly, it was 2 minutes and 3 seconds that it took me to explain it to him. And then right away, without any cuts, he
Wow.
performs it on me and successfully does it. Any word. So
Seriously.
very easy. Yeah.
Wow.
It's almost like it's basically like, imagine another, maybe an analogy would be, imagine I could teach you a language that, like, it's like a language that already exists within all of us, but you don't know that you know it until you learn decipher it, but it's already there. So once you learn the key, you're like, oh my god, this is so easy. It is
Mm.
kind of the way it works.
You
And
piqued
so it's
my
a
interest.
massive project. Yeah, man, it's gonna be so cool. And so I did this at Blackpool. I did it to a bunch of people, a bunch of big names. I shared it with Lloyd. There's a clip of me doing it on Lloyd. He freaked out. Cavan had probably the best reaction. He said it was the closest thing to mind reading he's ever felt, and gave
Wow.
it the trick of the convention at BMC, which you can go watch his BMC video. He literally calls it the
Holy
trick of the
shit.
convention, which was awesome. Mark Elsden loved it. Mark Lemon loved it. And then actually, and I'll give you one more exclusive because I like you, my man. So there's a really
Thank you.
exciting guest who's joining me on the project.
Ooh, okay.
I have there's about 3 hours of tutorial from myself, because it's not just a propless mentalism word guess either. It's actually a full system. I've taken the principles and translated it also to billet work, right? Because you can now perform a billet peak without the spectator writing their word down. Think about that.
You know, that now that you mentioned that, because something that I was thinking in the back of my head, one of the strongest things you can do is perform an effect twice with two different methods. So how strong would it be to guess a word somebody's written down, fold it in their
Mm,
pocket, or however you want to do it, gets ripped up, right? But then do it again with nothing. So it really
dude,
cements in that
exactly.
person's mind what you're doing is legit. And I just love that. That's awesome.
Dude, so yeah, so on the project, I cover the propolis version. I cover how to do it with a billet. So the spectator writes down some words, but they never write down their word. They never say it out loud, nothing. And you can
Oh,
still
that's good.
perform a billet peak without. So now you can peak information in their mind without them having written it or said it. I teach you how to do it on stage or for groups of people. So you can have everyone participate and read all of their minds at once. I teach you how to do what I think is my sort of holy grail effect in mentalism, which is write a prediction, set it in their hand, and then have them think of a word and then open up the billet and it matches. I teach you how to do that.
Oh, that's tough.
Um, all kinds of cool stuff. And then, special guest, and I want you to take a guess, and I will tell you if you're right. Let's
Well,
say, here's
you've
your
named
hint.
some names already. Um,
The
is this
hint for the
person a
special guest
mentalist?
is they are, I would say, if you the number one person that you would want on a project like this is who it is. That's my hint to you. Let's see if you can.
Number one person that I would want if I were you on this project.
Yeah. Or I think anyone, when they hear that he's on the project, they're gonna be
Peter
like,
Turner.
I need this. Bingo.
That's somebody else I want to
That's it,
talk
man.
to.
Yeah,
Man,
man. I'll have to
Pete
set you
Turner is
guys up.
amazing. I love all his material. Seems like a pretty cool guy too. There's somebody else I wanted to have a conversation with.
Pete's a fantastic guy, man,
Yeah,
and you
I've
know
heard.
we're good friends now. We met at Blackpool a few years ago, and when I shared this with him, he had so many ideas. I was like, dude,
Yeah,
some of these
I
are
can imagine already.
amazing.
I'm
I was
thinking in
like,
my mind, I'm like, yeah, that's the person that I can see.
right. So I was like, let's just roll the camera and see. So we filmed for like 4 hours, and it's cut down into about a 3 hour final video. But the ideas in there are
Wow.
just insane. See the 3 hour Pete Turner masterclass. Oh, it's crazy, man. So it's going to be a big thing, and there's already a ton of hype. Like at Blackpool, I put a couple of performances of it. Cavan's video was like trick of the convention. Lloyd had it in his big Blackpool video, so it was like a lot of people. I got so many messages. When is this coming out? When is this? I was like, oh, it's not ready, so you have to wait a few
So
months. But it's really
anybody that
exciting
knows me, I will not promote anything that I don't believe in.
for sure.
Just hearing about this, I already want to start telling people, hey, you need to check this out.
Well, I'll perform it to you after this. I'll share. We'll
Okay.
jump on a call real quick right after, and I'll show it to you because it's a lot of fun and it's super cool. But the reality is that like even so, I'm
When
starting
are
now. Right now,
pre-orders
this next
available?
July 5th is the goal. I just to
Okay,
be
can I just give
transparent,
you
what I
my
have
money now?
left to do. Nah, man. So what I have to do is I got to, I'll tell you what's left. So the tutorials are all filmed, edited, and ready to go on the product page. The Jam with Pete is filmed, edited, ready to go. I've built a practice tool. So you don't need that's a problem with propless mentalism. You need other spectators, or you need a
Yes.
spectator. But once you do it on someone once, you can't really repeat
Oh,
it
that's
because
such a
the
brilliant idea.
reactions are,
That's something that I struggle with when it comes to trying, because I have some really nice mentalist books and stuff back here. But a lot of things when it comes to mentalist, it's just hard to practice unless you're out there. And if you don't have the time to go out there and really just roll into it. So, all right, tell me about the practice tool. I'm really interested in that. That's such a great
so
idea.
for sure. Yeah, thank you, man. Yeah, so it's called the Trident Trainer, is what I named it. I thought it was a little clever little name. And so shout out to David Jonathan. I'm sure you're familiar with
Oh
David.
yeah.
And
Yeah, he
on
does some
his
brilliant stuff.
project, I've yeah, so I've helped him over the last few years. Just he saw me performing street magic. He's like, I love your performances. And so now he sends me some of his stuff from time to time. I get live performances. So on his Decode project, which was really great. So I'm in the trailer. I did a lot of the live performances, me and JS from JS Magic there. So we do a lot of the live performances for David. And so he had an effect called Travel Test that I did the live performances for. Really nice effect. It's like a one-page portable book test with a kicker. It's really nice. And on there, on the tutorial page, he had a very, very simple little training tool because there's a little anagram involved. So it uses the mother of all book test principle, like the long word principle at one point, which
Right.
it's no secret for this effect. And so there's some words you need to memorize, and then you need to know based on the first letter what the word is. So he built like the super simple tool, shows you a letter, you figure out what the word is, and then it shows you the answer. And that always stuck in my head as like, and when he was sharing it with me, he's like, yeah, like it's super simple, but I've never seen anyone do something like that. And that was the nugget for me that like I was like, I called him and I was like, David, how did you build that? Because we use the same website hosting platform, and he just kind of was like, oh yeah, it was just like a little bit of back end code, and I was like, okay, I'm not a great coder, I don't know too much, but I was like, AI can help me out a little bit, and anyway, so I spent some time and I figured out, and I basically built like almost like a little video game. So it looks like a little Game Boy, almost like an old school Game Boy kind of thing
Oh,
on the
okay.
screen,
Yeah.
and it gives you basically the information that you would receive from the spectator when performing Trident. And I've spent a bunch of time putting in a bunch of I couldn't use the system. It's crazy because it's too complicated for AI to figure out, but it's super simple for humans. It's just one of those weird things. Like I've tried to teach it to ChatGPT and it can't do it. It
Yeah,
just
there's
doesn't
certain
understand it.
things that AI is just not there yet. there's
Yeah.
I'm gonna say there's
And
a lot of
so
things when you really start getting into it.
totally, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So I actually had to actually fill out like 100. I think right now it has 105 different practice questions, if you want to call it that. And I can keep continuously add, and I probably will once if people are asking, hey, can we get another 100 uploaded or whatever? Sure. But basically, it knows the answer, and then it gives you said information that you'll receive, and then you can practice using the techniques that I teach you
Mhm.
to get to the answer, I'll say. And then you can click reveal, it'll give you the answer, and then you hit next, and it gives you a whole new practice set.
Oh man, that's
So it's super
really,
cool.
really smart idea.
Yeah, it's a
Because
lot of
something
fun.
like that
And it
that,
gives
that allows me to train in my own, personal time, get in 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here, maybe one at one point I can do it for an hour and get that training, and then I can feel a lot more confident when I go out and perform it in public.
yeah. Yeah, and just hearing you say that now, like, yeah, I feel like I should add more than 100. 100's a lot, but like you can once you, I think it's good for probably while you're first learning it. But then if you want to keep staying sharp, I think you'll probably want. Yeah, I should probably add like 500. It'd take me some time, but I
I
should
mean, you
do it.
can always
I mean,
update it, right?
yeah, well, it's basically a database, so I can
Right.
add a million entries if I want, but I have to vet each one of them, and so I do use ChatGPT to help me just create lists of random words that people could be thinking of, because
Right.
that it can at least do for me. But then I take
Have
those and I
you?
have to reverse engineer and everything.
Okay, so just a thought. have you thought of thinking or seeing if there's any studies as to the most commonly thought of words and trying to incorporate that into it?
Yeah, so there's varying level of difficulty in the training tool. So one of the things that you will learn on the project is that, I mean, it's great when everything is 100% perfect, but the reality of performing and spectators and everything is that it's not always going to be, and the nature of the method is it's not always going to be perfect or the same. So there's several techniques, and that's why, like, this is another whole thing that I could rant about for hours, but the short of it is Propolis mentalism is super tricky, and maybe I'll save this. Let's talk about this. Let me just finish this thought about the trainer, and then we'll bring that up because I think this will be an interesting conversation.
Okay.
But the short of it is, uh, so yeah, I've made it because I've vetted each answer. I've made some purposely challenging and purposely, like people would have basically made mistakes, but it's not a mistake like a typical Propolis mentalism thing where someone would say, oh, I can't get it now. You can still get it even if they make mistakes because of the nature of the method and the layers and everything. It just might be slightly more challenging, but there are so many tools at your disposal. Um, yeah, so I've given a lot of different options there, right?
Interesting. Okay.
Does that kind of make sense? So there's a lot on the project. It's super cool. I'm going to do a bunch of live performances. There's already, I think, 8 of them on the project, and then I'm going to be doing a bunch more. That's one of the last things I have to do is film some more street performances because a lot of the ones I have now are to magicians at Blackpool, which is great. But you also want to see, you don't get the great reactions always from magicians. And this you actually do. A lot of the magicians are like, what, like melted because they have no idea what's going on. Um, you know, and a lot of the big names, which is funny. And then, but besides that, like, you want the genuine spectator reactions as well. Like, that's what it's all about. So I want to get some of those. So I got to film those. We've just been having some rough weather here, but I'm thinking next Friday, I might,
Uh-oh.
I'll
I
have
think the
that footage. And then
weather
I'm going
might
to
have
do
changed it,
some live
breaking up.
performance breakdowns where I like break down all of it.
Uh-oh.
Oh, can you hear me?
Hold on. Yeah, it was chopping up there. I think it might be the
Am I
weather.
there?
Yeah, you're here now. Good.
Is it good now? Okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm all good. Okay. So, yeah, I was just saying, like, I need to go get those some more live performances, and then I'm going to do some live performance breakdowns where I'm actually reacting to all
Right.
of the live performances and explaining how I'm actually doing it, so you can have like actual real life examples of how I'm working through the system, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
So, a
I
lot of cool
mean,
stuff in there.
I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, and so
I often
what I
enjoy
wanted to
your performance breakdowns too. I think
appreciate it,
that's
man.
something that a lot of magic content creators should get into because it's definitely very helpful, especially when you run into issues.
100%. There's so much you can learn from that kind of stuff.
Right.
And so this is that really interesting conversation, and maybe it's never occurred to you if you haven't thought much about Propolis, but it's probably the hardest genre of magic to
I
advertise for because a lot of Propolis mentalism, the script is the method. So when it's performed to an audience member,
That's right.
if it's a good method, it can be deceptive, like the anagram, for example. It can be deceptive because they can't reverse engineer it. They won't remember everything that happened. There's performance, subtlety, all that stuff. But if it's on a video and you can play it back 1,000 times, and even nowadays people are feeding these scripts through AI and saying, "Oh, how did he do this?" And like it can be backtracked by because the process is the method, right? A lot of times,
Right.
and so that's why all 3 of the new big they're all Propolis word guesses. I don't know, it's the year of the Propolis word guess or whatever. There's just 3 of them that came out around the same time, had some success. I think this is going to be much better than all of them in my opinion. That'll be up for the people to decide. And the reality is that none of them showed a live performance. There isn't a live performance on the internet of any of them. And that just doesn't sit well with me, and it's challenging
Right.
because I always want to include live performances because I'm a worker, right? The stuff I do can be used in the real world. I want people to see that, and I think it's the most honest form of marketing, right? But it's so challenging, and if the middle ground is you show some of a live performance and you cut certain things, but then that's
Right.
even
Right.
worse because then people don't know what you're cutting, but then ad copy. And so I've actually, like I said, I've already put out some live performances of it. I believe, and the truth of the matter is that Trident is so unique that it's one of the few Propolis effects where the script actually isn't the only thing going on. There's more to the method and the underlying system that, yeah, if you watch it back 100 times as an analytical magician, you might think you have an idea of some of the things that's going on, and I'm sure you might have a couple of ideas, but there's too much other things in the system that if you go try it like that, you won't get it, or you won't get
So
it
you're telling me
consistently.
even if it's fully recorded and you were to watch it, it's still difficult to reverse engineer.
Correct. Exactly.
Wow.
So that is why I am going to include not one, but likely two full live performances in the trailer of two of the different variations. And again, like I said, there's already two uncut live performances on other people's channels that are out there already. And I can see, like, yeah, I got a couple of messages of people being like, "Oh, I think I figured it out." I'm like, "Okay, why are you telling me?" But sure. But then once I was, I played the game. I was like, "Okay," and some people had the right intentions. They were like, "Oh, maybe you don't want to have it out there." I'm like, "Okay, well, what do you think the method is?" And they're like, "Oh, I think it's this and this." I'm like, "Okay, well, go ahead and try that and see if that works." you know, but I get it. Like, that we're magicians. That's what we're gonna want to do. But at the end of the day, even if someone does figure it out, I'm not too concerned because you're never going to be able to perform it from a performance. There's
Right.
3 hours of tutorial, 3 hour masterclass from Pete,
Right.
right?
And
It's
then
it's a
everything else that you're offering along with it is coming all in one big package. I wouldn't want to miss out on
yeah,
that trying to reverse engineer anything.
exactly. And it's super unique where it's almost like, okay, imagine, well, no, it's actually completely different to this, but here's an example. So imagine with the star sign anagram, if Pete put out a live performance of that and he showed us case scenario where you
Right.
say, "Is there an R?" and they say no. So then all that you'd see in the live performance is there an R? No, and then you'd reveal the star sign. And you, like, knowing the method, you know that it could go other ways. Now, Trident is not a multiple out in any way, um, but it almost has that same effect that, like, there's different things in your head that aren't being said, so you can't really work that out, if that makes sense. It's kind of hard. It's a weird one. It's such a
It does
unique
make sense, but
principle.
it's also still it's hard to comprehend at the same
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Anyway, man, so that's going to be big. I think it's going to be my biggest release ever by far. I think it's going to be, I've always done everything independently. I'm a big believer in ownership, and you know, if you can keep what your work and you own it, at the end of the day, that's always better. Full creative control. I would like to do something, or not like to. I think it would be good that I do something with a magic company one day, which I could probably do at any time. I got lots of stuff that I'm sure they would like. It's just finding the right thing and the right time. But with this was
Right.
just, yeah, this is one of those things that feels like, man, I don't know how I'm going to top this. It's one of those where I'm like, well, this might be it for me. This might be the last thing I ever create. It's one of those like double-edged swords in a way. But
But I
I'm
mean,
super
now that you
excited
put in all the
to
work
share.
and from what you're describing to me, it sounds amazing.
It is, man. It's super, super cool, and I really think it could be something that a lot of mentalists, adapt as like again, it's more of a system, right? And the system can be adapted to most of the other mentalism that you already do. Like if you already have a billet routine or a, one ahead routine or whatever that you use, you can just slide Trident right in there and just
Right.
take your routine to the next, you know. So
Now, the
super cool
trainer
stuff.
itself, is that going to be available like from a website or an app? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's all going to be on a product page. So when you
Right.
purchase, you'll get access. to the exclusive product page where all the videos will be, and the trainer lives on that page. You can do it on your phone it's through a website, but you can do it on your phone. You can do it on a desktop, whatever you want.
Man, that's awesome. I can't wait for that. And when will you be dropping, or do you know when you'll be dropping your pre-sales or the actual release date? Or
So if everything goes according to plan and the pre-sale starts July 5th, then the trailer's going to come out on that day. And then the
okay,
next week there'll be at some point the teaching video with Cam, there'll be a Q&A video, there'll be some other type of video that I haven't quite figured out yet.
we've got about a
So it'll
month.
be like a full, yeah, it'll be a full month of videos on the channel. The whole channel is going to be dedicated to talk about it for that week. And then probably August 1st would be when all the access information is delivered, and then the price goes to the non pre-sale price, and it's officially launched, basically.
Gotcha.
That's so yeah, man, I'm super excited, but it's all keeping me busy, and then keeping up with the channel videos. Actually, in fact, now that we're talking about Trident, tomorrow, Sunday, I drop videos on Sundays. So Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern, so 24 hours from when we started this, yeah, I'm dropping a video, which is all of my performances from Blackpool. So I did a lot of performances. I had a lot of them on video, and I thought it would be fun to show people, not just Trident, but like everything I performed to all kinds of people at Blackpool. Sometimes other magicians or people I know or people who came up to me said, "Hey, I love your channel. Can I see something?" So like all these performances. And I was like, oh, I have all this footage that didn't make my Blackpool videos. So I put them all together in like a performance compilation. And within there is a couple, one or two full performances of Trident, and then a bunch of little teaser clips of kind of some people reacting to Trident. So actually tomorrow, you'll be able to see some other live performances too.
So it's all right.
I just
In
remembered.
24 hours, we get a sneak peek of this project. I'm excited.
Yes, there'll be another live performance sneak peek. So it's like a teaser, sort of, I guess I would call it.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, man, it's really exciting. And you know what? It's been a lot of work just keeping up with the YouTube videos. Doing all that. It's always fun. I'm hoping to do some more filming today because and everything going on. Just busy. You know how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Got a lot going on.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
but I know you also have your channel membership and that type of stuff. Can you so I know we ran through this before, but just for everyone else watching, you can bring that up and tell
Yeah,
us how that works.
for sure. Yeah, I'll keep it brief. So, there was a project that I always wanted to do and never knew the right way to deliver it because it was just going to be so much content. And then eventually the idea of a membership made sense, and I realized that was the place to be. So um, there's kind of three levels to my membership. It's all through my YouTube channel. So if you head over there, there's the join button, and I'll say join on a desktop or an Android, because if you join through the YouTube app on an iPhone, because it's through the App Store, Apple will take 30%. And so to counteract that, YouTube has marked all the prices up by 30%. So it doesn't affect me, but it affects you guys. So instead of YouTube taking 30% from me, they just upcharge all the customers 30%, which
Wow.
is so it's like 30% expensive every month if you sign up through, it's stupid, but through the YouTube app on iOS. Nothing I can do about
So
it,
can you
unfortunately.
sign up through your website, or is only through YouTube the membership sign up? Or
Just it's a YouTube membership, so it's run through the channel. And the reason I did that is because I want all the content to be there. So when you're watching all the free videos, the membership videos are there. When you're looking for my content, it's all in one place. It's not like go sign up for another Patreon and this account and that account. It's all in one spot. So it is through YouTube. Just if you go on the YouTube app and hit join, you'll see certain prices. And then if you sign in on a desktop on YouTube or an
okay,
Android, or if you even go through Safari, but you're in the YouTube on a browser rather than the app, it'll be
okay,
the reduced prices,
so
basically.
if you can go through a browser, like on the actual YouTube website, if you can do it on PC or Android, you're in the clear. You'll save
You're
that
good.
extra
You'll
bread.
get that extra charge. So just a little thing that I've discovered recently. They used to not even let you sign up through the iPhone YouTube app. So if you look for Join, it didn't exist on the iPhone YouTube app, but in the last year they added it, but then they increased the price. I wish they would just go back to not offering it there, and so people can
Right.
just sign up how they used to through the web. But anyway, no rant for another time. So the three levels is there's the fairy tier, a play on my last name, but it's Fairy, like a magical fairy, right? The fairy tier, which is like the supporter tier. So that you just get, it's basically it's very inexpensive. I don't know all the prices in USD. I think it's about $5 Canadian, it's probably like 2 or 3 US dollars
Okay.
monthly, and that's literally just a supporter tier. You'll get like a badge next to your name and some access to exclusive posts and stuff. But it's more just a supporter tier. If you appreciate the channel, that little bit goes a long way, type thing. The first tier where there's actual new content is the mentalist tier. So that's the middle level. That I think is 15 Canadian. So that would be about 10 USD a month, which is a crazy good price because on there is I'm doing this massive project. So Practical Mental Magic by Ted Anneman,
Right.
which is the Bible of mentalism, or an amazing mentalism book. Is it was written in the 40s. It is dated. A lot of either the methods or the plots, they're talking about uh, old things and old methods that are just so ridiculous, or old plots about a lot of psychic living dead type stuff.
Remember
And so
we discussed one of these crazy methods last time we talked. Uh-oh. I think your camera froze. Oh no, I may have lost you. Reed, can you hear me? Uh-oh. We may have some technical difficulties. Oh, I know you said that right now. Uh-oh, hold on. You may have jumped off. Yeah, it looks like you jumped off. Let's see if he comes back.
sorry,
Yep,
dude.
you're back.
Are we good? I don't My phone, the weirdest thing, I just got a pop-up. It said your iPhone's overheated and it just restarted.
Oh no. Okay.
I
Yeah.
think I was because I had it on the wireless charger while I was doing this. I think that's why. So let
Okay.
me plug it into a wire. We're charging, and let me try to set this up just a little differently because sorry about that. What can I stand it on? Let's just put this with the wire in it. That's the question. I wish YouTube would let you join the vertical lives on a computer, man.
Yeah, I know it'd be a lot easier. I've had a lot of people ask me, like, why don't they do that? I have no idea.
Okay. Are we good?
Yeah, we are good. We're still
Go.
live.
Okay.
I kept it moving.
Perfect.
I blamed it on the weather.
The weather's actually decent today. I'm just picking up some of these cards that I dropped. The weather's decent. It's just been the last little while. We finally got some nice warm weather, but man, it's been rough.
You guys
So,
can have all our warm weather. It's a little hot, a little toasty over here for me.
oh, yeah, it's hot for us here right now. We're like, well, I guess what I'm gonna say is not gonna mean anything to you, but it's about 30 degrees today Celsius, so that's probably in the 90s, maybe ish. So
That's pretty hot. I don't know how hot it is out here today, but it's decently hot for sure.
yeah. So what were we talking about? The
We
membership.
were talking
So
about the anime
yeah.
and
So
how it was kind of dated when it comes to some of the routines and the methods. And I was mentioning that I remember speaking about a funny method that you were explaining to me last time you were on,
mm,
about the whole turning the lights off in the room. I don't know if you remember.
yeah. No, that's the one I always. That's like the weirdest one in there. I just did
Yeah.
last week one on the astral shirt is the original name of the effect, and I remember when I told Pete Turner in Blackpool is like, oh yeah, I know you're a big Animan fan. I'm doing a, a red shirt underneath a white shirt, and then you have. I'm like, how is this in a mentalism book? But you go behind in a box with your hands cuffed. You stick your hands out of two holes, and then, or no, there's a rope. It's a rope tying your hands. You feed the rope through two holes, and two spectators hold the ends of the rope. You go into the box, and within like 5 seconds, you come out of the box with a new t-shirt on, with a new shirt on under your suit with a tie on. And so you had to like, you'd have a gimmick tie, you have the shirt on under the other shirt, and he'd teach you like you slip your hand, you pull this over, boom, someone else throws the shirt in, but you already have the other shirt on, so it's a duplicate shirt. You stuff it in your pants, and then it's like, bro, who's doing that? Anyway, so I'm like, now I have to turn this into a practical modern mentalism effect because that's the goal. So I talk about the original in each video. So I break down every single effect has its own video. So there's hundreds of effects. I think 200 or 300 effects. It's like almost 300 pages. We are 60 videos in, so we're about a third of the way through. No, page wise, we're a third of the way through the pages, but effect wise, we are still less than half.
Oh wow.
So we're 60 pages through. So it's going to take me. I drop 2 videos every month, related to the course. One on the 15th, one on the 30th. So at that level, you get 2 videos a month. You get the full backlog of the Animan course. We just dropped video 60 on the 30th of May. And so that's 60 modern mentalism effects, but you're learning the fundamentals because all of them use a fundamental method. And either I've changed the method, like with the astral shirt, I completely changed it. Like it's not even remotely similar, but it has the theme of a t-shirt. That's what I went with. I just kept the theme of a t-shirt. So I always try to take a nugget from the original to inspire the new effect. But sometimes the original methods are fantastic, so I just modernize the presentation. Or sometimes the presentation's amazing, but the method sucks. So you get access to that full course and all the videos. It's going to take me till I think 2028 to finish the course, but I am committed. I'm going to finish the whole thing. Because it's. I mean, I'm doing 2 videos a month, which is a lot, but I mean, it's a
That's a
monster
huge
of a book.
project. Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. It keeps me busy, and then you also get early access to videos on that tier. So usually every week I drop the Sunday video, between a day and 3 days early, for those members. And then the final tier is the Wizard tier, which is the top tier, and there you get access to all of my exclusive projects. So you get the full Animan course, but then I have a couple of things up there. So some of my projects that I sell that you can buy on my website. So like the Propless Mentalism Masterclass, the One Ahead Masterclass, my live lecture. You can buy those for lifetime access, and you own them like just like any other project. Or they also are available on the Wizard tier, is what I call the top tier. And it's the reason I called it that is kind of funny. But my brother, when we were growing up, used to make fun of, like, he's younger, but he'd always, I mean, when we were kids, he'd think when we were like teenagers, he'd like laugh at me for doing magic all the time. He started calling me a wizard, and it just became like a joke between us. He's like, "How are the wizards doing?" Every time I'd go to the magic club or whatever. So I was like, "Cool, I'm gonna make the wizards cool." It's funny. So that's why I called it that. But they get, so all of those projects are on there. If you rather would just sign up on a month-to-month basis and check out those projects, they're all there. But then there's other ones that aren't available for purchase. So I have a billet work masterclass, and then a bunch of member requested. So you can request videos as a member of the Wizard tier. So I've taught a Propolis pin code guess, a Propolis name guess. Everyone asks me for Propolis stuff, but I don't mind. A Propolis Chinese zodiac guess. So the Chinese zodiac things, or Chinese, is that Chinese zodiac? Yeah, that's what they're called. Right. So like the year of the rabbit, the dragon, all that stuff. So I can do that. I taught my influence force, which is an effect people have been asking me to teach forever. So that's up there. So exclusive tutorials, all kinds of stuff, typical membership stuff, but it's really cool and people have really been enjoying it. So that's kind of a little bit about that.
Awesome. I think I'm the year of the rabbit, if I'm not mistaken.
I am the rabbit too, I believe. 99 is me, which is the rabbit, I believe.
Shit. Old as fuck.
No,
91,
I'm just
I
young.
think. But am I
Yeah,
right?
because isn't it?
I think it's so.
Mm, I think isn't it cycle every 12 years though or something? I don't know.
Something like
Maybe.
that.
I don't know it well enough.
I
Or
thought it
maybe
was
I'm
someone
wrong, but I'm
told me.
pretty
I think
sure.
it was my mother told me when she's like the year of the tiger or something like that, and she's into all
Let's
that stuff too.
Google it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead. Let's see. I
Let's
think I'm the rabbit.
I- okay, let's find out what you are.
I have to jump out of the hat.
91. 91. Where are you? 91. Oh, you are the sheep.
Oh, I'm the sheep.
The sheep. Beat on
All
the
right.
sheep. The year of the sheep. Yeah. 91, 03, 2015. Okay, so yeah, it is every 12 years. That's how it
Okay.
works. Okay, that's what I thought. Cool. Yeah.
Sheep.
So yeah,
All
man,
right.
keeping super busy, trying to keep up with all this stuff, and then lessons. Like I'm doing pretty much like lessons daily, pretty much. Lots of magicians all over, just trying to help people and share the gift of magic. It's always a lot of fun.
Now, do you find it more difficult to teach? Um, well, not necessarily mentalism, but teach in general, magic, mentalism. I'm gonna throw it all together. Do you find it more difficult to teach people who have like a lot of experience, or people who are sort of coming into it without any experience?
So I would say um, the people that are very experienced have two problems. They have bad habits that they've developed and are ingrained into their muscle memory, which are a lot harder to fix. One of the big ones I teach, and a lot of things, a lot of the time, something that people come to me for is the call. And a lot of people who come to me and say, "Oh, I can already call some cards." I look at it, I'm like, "Well, no, you can't, or you can, but in order to get to the level you want, where you can separate a red and black deck, or you can, even call four of a kind,
Right.
well, quickly, it's not going to happen with that form. I can tell you, right? So it's like
I
then they
struggle
have
with
to kind of
pulling multiple cards. If I'm doing one or two cards, it's not as bad. Well, once I start getting up to multiple cards, I need a little practice in that area for sure.
I can give you a few tips, man. Even now, if you want to chat about it, there's a couple of really simple things that'll make it much easier for you. So if you want, we can do
Okay.
that in a minute. Um, but yeah, so that's the case. The beginners are tough when they are really raw, where like I'm teaching them how to like riffle shuffle, or like even like just overhand shuffle, like because then there's just no dexterity or muscle memory, so there's nothing that's going to speed that up than them putting in the work. And some people are
Yes.
great and they'll spend hours every day, and every week there's big improvements. And then there are some people who maybe just aren't as motivated, and it just takes more time. It takes more
Sort of
time because you
like
gotta
Ricky Bobby.
put,
I don't know what to
yeah,
do with
you
my
gotta put
hand.
in the work. Yeah, exactly, man. You got to put in the work. And you know
Yeah.
what's crazy though, man? I don't have a ton of kids who are clients, but I have a few. Oh, they're incredible, man. These kids, like I have a 13-year-old I'm working with. I had a 15-year-old I used to work with. I can teach them how to bottom deal, and the next week, man, is better than me at bottom dealing.
Wow.
like, like, dude, just the sponge, right?
Yeah.
Like they're just like so I think it's the underdeveloped brain and just like a sponge. It's like they say kids can learn languages really quick. Like,
Yeah.
oh man, they're the best. They can learn stuff in like no time. And like sleight of hand wise, like the kids are getting so good, man. And
My
but I've
my
noticed it
daughter
teaching
is
them
amazing. She's
crazy.
only 7 years old, and she's already got like it's been teaching her, little things here and there. She's sort of like a wet noodle when it comes to the hand stuff, right? But like mentally, like let's say mem deck stuff, she's already got like the first five cards
Mhm.
memorized. So I'm really proud of.
Oh, amazing.
It's
Yeah.
just wild to me.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I bet you like Yeah, I bet you if you gave her a deck, like a random stack, and you a deck, and you were like, okay, we're gonna lock ourselves in a room and memorize it, I bet she'd do it before you. Like it's just crazy. Like they're just, I don't know. And I notice it. It's just wild. The speed, you know. Um, So it's awesome. It's awesome, and it's so fun,
You also,
seeing the younger kids.
like, for example, knock pros. She can read those. I taught her how to read those. So
Yeah,
it's just funny. It's just really funny. I can, I could sort of use her as like in a stooge and say just for fun, but have somebody cut the deck, and then she's just peeking over at it, and hey, my daughter's name is Mia. Mia, name a card, and she'll name that card, and then it's already set up for me to do
yeah,
whatever after somebody else's shuffle.
yeah.
Little fun stuff
Amazing.
like
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, that's what it's all about. You know what I mean? Like, I love like, it's tough for me with kids. Like kids, they gotta get their parents to pay and for the lessons and everything. Like, I get it. Kids don't have money, so it's like I don't work with a lot of kids. Unfortunately, I wish I did because it's quite enjoyable and they're always great. But I've also found like I've had a couple of kids who have even just reached out to me and been like, "Hey, I want to." Learn from you or whatever. But my parents just don't believe in magic. Like they don't think it, they think it's a waste of time, which is like really unfortunate because I think it's one of the best hobbies you can have. Um, and
I
so like
mean,
I've actually
anything to
had
stay out of
conversations.
trouble, and I mean, you're not out there
Totally.
going to bars, you're not, doing drugs. I mean, you're at home with a deck of cards, or trying to read people's minds. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot
Yeah.
of worse
And
stuff. Believe me, because I'm not a saint here. Believe me, there's a
yeah.
lot worse stuff you could
Yeah.
be out there doing.
For sure, man. And I've had some conversations with parents. Like if I get that kind of message, I'm like, I always try to help because I think like getting more young people is like super important for the future of magic. So I'm always like trying to do what I can. And like I've had some conversations. I'm like, you know what? Give me your mom's phone number. I'll chat with her on the phone. I've talked to a few parents. I'm like, look, I started this as a young kid. It was a great hobby. I'm not saying he's going to make a living from this because maybe that's not the case. It could happen, but really more than anything, it gives you an incredible social ability among anyone else to be able to go
Yeah.
into a room and just command it and own it and know that you can entertain a whole room and all this and
It's a
so
great life skill. Go
I've got some
anywhere
on
in the
board
world. Yeah, like you're saying, go anywhere in the world and
anywhere.
entertain someone with nothing or just a deck of cards is an amazing skill.
Absolutely, man. Totally. Super important. And yeah, so it's great to be able to share that. And I mean, that was the whole goal when I started doing the YouTube thing. It was just like, I want to just share magic. And then the fact that I've been able to turn that into, helping people more formally is just
Right.
awesome. I get to do what I love and get to help people. And, you know, that's what it's all about for me.
Yeah, that is awesome. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've got to get more into mentalism. It is something that I really like, and hopefully with this new
Hmm.
release you're going to be having, that might push me or getting into doing a little bit more mentalism routines that are
Yeah,
away
man.
from playing cards, because I do a lot of playing card stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good playing card mentalism you can do as well. Have you
For
ever seen
sure.
my propless playing card guess?
You what?
The propless playing card guess that I have?
I don't think I have. No. Uh,
I'm just
okay.
checking my phone.
Awesome. Let's
So
do
it's
it.
actually okay. Okay, let's do it. Let's have some fun. Okay, so Brandon, I want you to think of a number from a deck of cards. Okay, let me know when you got one.
Okay. Uh,
Good.
yes.
That could be any. Yeah. Okay, great. Now that could be any value. So just lock that in your mind. And in a moment, I'm now going to have you think of a suit. So for example, if you think of spades, you're going to burn it like big bold at the front of your mind and really kind of lock it in. So go ahead. Any suit that comes to mind, lock that in your mind.
Got it.
All right. So take that value and that suit, put them together, and you've now created a playing card, right?
Got it.
Okay. Now there's a little bit of lag here, so we're gonna have to deal with a few things, but that's all fine. So, Brandon, here's the thing though. When I just ask someone to think of a playing card, it's not really as random as you think. You think it's random, but it's not. I tend to get really common cards all the time, like the Kings, for example. The Kings are super common. It's almost annoying how many times they come up. And then people are like, oh, you just got lucky. Everyone names that card. Now, I don't want you to think I just got lucky. So, we're going to make that card a little more random. So, let's say you went for a number card, change to any picture card. And if you went for a picture card, change to any number card. Okay?
Okay.
Got one?
Yep.
So this will be your new card. Focus on that card right in the air between us. Okay, now I want you to imagine the card spelt out in the air between us. And can you focus in on the first letter of that card for me?
Yes.
And can you think of a month that starts with that card?
Oh,
You know
that's
what?
good.
Let's do
No, I
this.
cannot.
Let's do this. Let's do this instead. Forget that. Let's do this. The only thing I was able to tell, you're the type of person, I'm pretty sure you went for a red card, didn't you?
I did.
And now just repeat that suit in your mind. Just keep saying it over and over, like hearts, hearts, hearts.
That's it.
Okay. That's it right there. Now, you could be thinking of, and for the first time, what playing card do you have in mind?
The Queen of Hearts. Now, I am familiar with this technique. This is something
Yeah,
I
it's cool,
use.
right?
Yeah, this is something that I use a lot.
Yeah.
I
So it's
love
just the way that I framed it into the propless piece, right?
yes.
With the scripting and everything. It's really neat.
I love. Okay, so one thing that I noticed that stuck out to me, I'm like, oh damn, that's good. When you said, "Can you think of a month that starts with that letter?" I'm just like, oh, that's so good because it's
Yeah,
something that you
right.
wouldn't think, but damn, that's awesome. I really like that.
And the thing is, if this wasn't like a little bit laggy, where like it's a bit of a delay, and I tried to, but I don't think we quite got there. Like I would have cut you off. I wouldn't even have you told me your answer because I know your answer by this just looking at you,
Right,
whether it's
right.
yes or no right away. Like so, I would not even have you say no out loud, and I was like, yeah, just let's do
Because
something else,
had
right?
it been
But
the Jack, for example, I would have immediately said January or June or
bingo, right?
whatever. Right?
Yeah. So I have no problem kind of sharing this because I do teach this on the YouTube channel actually. So I see Next Gen is in here. What the hell? I love that. He says. But yeah, man, if you want to learn that, I think I taught it when I had 4,000 subscribers as my 4,000 sub special. So if you search, I think like Propolis Mentalism, Reid Ferry, it should be one of the first
Bro, you're
videos from
at,
4K
if I'm
subscribers.
not mistaken, I thought when you popped up here, it said you're at like 13.5 now, right? That is
Yeah, man,
crazy,
that's
man.
crazy.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, man, it's been a slow building journey, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I feel like if it goes too fast, then you lose the connection with the audience. You're not really
Right.
building a loyal fan base, right? You went viral is what it means that then. And like, I'm not hey, if I go viral, amazing. Like, I'm not gonna complain. But like, I don't know. I like having my little tight knit community there, right? Like it feels more real and connecting with the subscribers and things like I pretty much answer every comment on my channel. Like I try really hard. I have the
Right.
notifications on, so every comment that I get should appear on my phone so I can click on it and answer it. I try to answer them right away. Like sometimes people will see I answer within like 10 seconds. They're like, what the heck? I'm like, well, I have the notifications on. If I'm on my phone and a comment comes in, I'll answer it right away so that I can you know
Yeah, I
help
think that's
people
really
and
important for people. They want to feel, as if they're part of the community. And when you're talking back with people, and there really needs to be that camaraderie and, all of us come together and being that tight knit community and the magic community in general. Um,
mm,
we don't see it all the time because there is, I've noticed, there can be a little bit of toxicity in the magic community at some points, but we really need to just come together and have conversations. That's kind of like what the reason I wanted to do these interviews in the first place is just to have open conversations. Like we might not agree on everything, but at the end of the day, you are entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. We're both magicians. We can perform any way we'd like. And you know, I think we should be able to have open, free conversations without people getting, uptight or upset. And that happens sometimes.
man, that's just the world we're in right now, unfortunately, right? You
Yeah.
can't talk about anything that you disagree with, which is like
Right.
so
Whether it's
unfortunate. Where it's like,
politics, religion, whatever the case is, you should be able to have a conversation about it and not get upset if somebody disagrees with you.
100%, man. That's what I think. I think that's just worked its way into every space in all communities,
Right.
probably. I
Next
imagine
gen
it's not
spawn
just the
just put,
magic community.
that's toxicity in all communities.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
100%, because it's one of those things where, and I think I have a feeling it's worse in magic because of the egocentric nature of the art form. I think
It's
a
yeah,
lot
it's
of people
weird.
get into magic because a lot of people think it's a I want to do something cool, right? It's why they want them to be look at me, right? Where like, I mean, I don't ever try. I'm never out there performing because I'm like I wanting people to like look at how cool I am or things that I can do, right? It's
You
about
do
the
it because you enjoy
experience. And
performing. You love the smiles. You love to entertain people, right? I mean, that's why I
yeah, and
do
there,
it.
I mean, I don't think it's I think it's a bit disingenuous if I say there's no aspect of like myself feeling good that I can do this, but it's more like I feel good because I'm entertaining them, not I
Right,
feel
right.
good because I can do something they can't, right?
Exactly.
Like no doubt there's an ego component to all, but it's not just magic, it's everything. But
For sure.
um, you know, I think that's a big issue. Like there's so many crazy things. Have you seen that whole unnamed magician thing?
I've gotten into it a little bit, and see little things like that. It's just like, come on, man. There's enough space for everyone. You know,
I know. It's just yeah. Yeah, and, I
whether
don't know.
you
It's
whether
it's
you know his method or you don't know his method, what's the difference? Like, what does it matter?
yeah,
Hey,
that's
if he
just so
wants if he
stupid,
wants
man.
to sell something that he created, let him sell it. But like not the fact that he's
Yeah,
like doesn't want to sell it now or whatever. I don't know. It's I have seen the jerks. They have made a couple questionable remarks when it comes to other magicians before. Some justified and some not justified. So I mean, everybody has their opinion,
right.
but I mean, in that sense, they're also entitled to their opinion as well. So,
Totally. I mean, it's just funny. It's just ridiculous. Like it's magic tricks, my friends. Like, come on. What are we
but like
doing?
what you were saying
What are
with
we
the
doing?
ego, exactly. It's magic tricks. Come on, like it's not rocket science. We're not doing nuclear fission or you know
Yeah, yeah,
the whole ego thing. I've seen the ego thing like to the point where it's like, come on, bro. Like where people, I'm not going to name anybody, but people like would see themselves as being more intelligent than their audience, and I completely disagree with that. I don't think it's a matter of intelligence. It's you have a piece of knowledge that that other person does not have, which doesn't
totally.
equate to intelligence. At least I don't think so. And then you have like
Oh,
the
not at all.
ego thing where people see themselves as like wanting to be seen at like this god tier level or whatever, and it's like, come on. At the end of the day, you're just out here
And
entertaining people.
worse, it's a little worse in mentalism, I think, because of the nature of the art of mentalism. It like who was I having this conversation with the other day about with mentalism, it is so much a look at me kind of thing because
Right.
it's just like what's the effect? It's you think of something and I guess it. There's nothing inherently magical that's happening outside of that, right? In a lot of the effects and a lot of ways they're presented. And so thinking about different ways to empower people. And so one little thing I can share that I like to do, and I think I touched on this recently in my I made a DFB video, so like my top 5 ways to use DFB, and people seem to quite like that. But there's an idea from there. So one thing I'll do is on DFB you can set up like a manual entry, so you can set like a dynamic force. So instead of it being like a preset force word, it's like something you can enter on the fly in the DFBX, I think, the newer version or whatever. You know DFB, yeah?
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, okay,
Was that
DFB.
an
So
app?
that's a digital force bag. Yeah, it's the
Oh, okay.
app Digital Force Bag.
Now that you say the full name, I know
Yeah,
what you're
so it's the one, right. So you got your notes app with 100 things in it. They name a number from 1 to
talking
100, and it's forcing the position on the list, right?
about. Yeah,
And
right.
so, one thing that I like to do to kind of get away from this ego-centric mentalism is have someone think of something and figure out what that is, whether you use Trident or you peek it or whatever you want, And then with DFB, the new version is called DFBX, and um, on that there's a manual entry. So instead of, let's say you're doing countries, and you'd have your list of 100 countries, and you'd pick which one you're going to force, and then you go into your routine. You'd have Paris written, or that's not even a country. You'd have France written on a piece of paper. You'd put it in their hand. You'd say, I have a list of countries. Name a number from 1 to 100. 99. Boom, boom. They look at 99. It says France. They open it up, France. Well, with this, you can dynamically set the force variable. So it's not set to anything until you can type something in, and that becomes the force word. So let's say come up to you and you're with a friend, and I say, okay, Brandon, I want you to think of anything. I do trident on you. I now know you're thinking of a book. I say, okay, now there's no way I could know what you're thinking of, but I want to take this a step further, and I want her or him to try to read your mind, your friend. I want them to try to read your mind. So I want you to get a random word in mind as well, but we're going to do this in a little bit of a different way. I just have a list of 100 random words on my phone. Now I take my phone, I put in book as the force word, go, name a number from 1 to 100, boom, boom, open up the random words list. They look at their number. Now they have book in their mind. You have book in your mind. You've never told me. There's no way I could know. So everything's off me. And it's like, okay, you each have a word. It's completely random. And I can look at the person who you forced it and say, did you ever know you were going to think of this word? Like a little.
Oh man, that's good.
And now you just say, okay, on the count of 3, we're both going to say the first letter out loud. 1, 2, 3. They both go B. And just theatrically, it's so beautiful, right? And then you just kind of look at them and you're like, okay, now I want you each to mime what you would do with this thing. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, and they both go do the same thing. Like, or so you have fun with it, and then you say, okay, 1, 2, 3, say the word, and they say book. And now you're doing like a spectator mind reader type thing.
That is such a good idea. My friend Mads Lumbrick, he's always talking about the digital force bag, and I haven't purchased it yet, but it's been on my list of something that I want to get into, because he sings the praises for it of like many different effects and different types of things you can do with it.
Yeah. And there's some cool card stuff too. I have this one effect that I taught this on the DFB video too. So a lot of people, what they'll use it for cards with is just to force a card. So they'll usually have an order in a stack that they have memorized, like mnemonica, say. Right. And then they'll have a card selected as their force card, and then they'll go into a routine. They'll say, okay, I just, I shuffled the deck. I wrote down all the different playing cards in my notes, whatever that order was. I want you to just name a number from 1 to 52. They say the number, and then they look, and it's that force card, because you just enter the mnemonica number of that card and it forces it, right? Yeah. So, or sorry, actually, I explained that slightly wrong. You input the number they say, and your force card's already preset. So you've already chosen in the back end, I'm forcing the ace of hearts, right? So now the ace of hearts will end up in that position. Now, what I thought of is, with that method, you can't have them name a card, because you're forcing a particular card. Like the preset for the force has to be chosen. So I came up with a little stack that instead of mnemonica, it's like an ordered stack. So like all the aces through 4s are at the beginning. All the 6 through 8s are, or 5 through 8s are there in the middle. And then the 9s through jack. So everything's in order, but it's mixed up enough within each of those banks that if you look at it on a phone, like as a list, you don't notice. But what it allows the performer to do is, when they name a card, you can have the force list where you select the card you want to force. You can have it open. Now, when they name the card, you can, without even looking at your phone, you can swipe to the middle of the list, the top of the list, or the bottom. And then you can quickly, as you're saying, oh, I have a note in my phone with all the different cards. So you don't even, name a card. So if you named one, here's how I do the effect. So name a card.
Let's say 2 of hearts.
2 of hearts. So I say, okay, shuffle the deck. So now this is spectator shuffled, named card. Then I say, I'm just going to go through the cards, and I just want you to tell me stop when you see your card. Okay, so.
Stop. Right there.
Okay, perfect. So now your card's somewhere in the deck. You know about where it is, but I have a list on my phone. So now I take out the phone, I select 2 of hearts as the force, and then I go to the list, and I say, I want you to check the list on my phone. And I was counting the cards. So when you said stop, I know the 2 of hearts is at 12 now. So I input 12 as the force, and I say, just find your card on the list. And they'll now find it at 12. And then you say, go ahead, count down 12 cards. and it's like a little ACAN thing. It's like a lot of different
Right.
ways you can use it. It's a really versatile app, but that's a cool
I mean,
little
I see that being
variation.
extremely valuable, especially if you give the deck to the spectator to be shuffled, right? It would still work, wouldn't it?
Exactly. Well, that's it. They shuffle it first, and then you just have them go through. You say, just
That's what would make it
actually,
so
sorry.
strong. Yeah.
And what I normally say is, oh, you know what? I've had a few cards signed and taken out of the deck. I don't know if the two of hearts is in here. Can you just tell me when you see it? And then they just say,
Right.
they say, okay, I got it. And now you know it's at two without even looking. And now you combine this with a mark deck. You can just tell them to think stop. Think stop. I see the two of hearts. Hold on. I feel
Uh,
like you just thought stop somewhere around
that's
here,
good. I
right?
like that.
Now you say go through the list, and and now they don't even know, right? And then it's like, okay, what number do you have in mind? They'll say two, and you go watch, just deal down, right? The easiest A can ever. But there's a lot
Mm.
of cool things you can do with it. Think outside the box.
Yeah, I just came up with something yesterday that I was playing around with. It's a concept with shuffle deck. It's really simple, but it's just something that kind of popped up in my head. But you have someone say a number between 1 and 10, for example. Let's say they say six or whatever. Then you have them pick a random card, and I'm just going to blow through this. But six of hearts, they pick that card. That card, just for purposes here, is then controlled to the top. Shuffle it up, whatever you want to do. Blah blah blah. Then you tell them you're going to show them that that card is not here. So you show them whatever card you have here. Uh, let's say 2, 3, 4,
Hmm.
5, and then 6. Show them that card's not there, not at 6. And you say the reason it's not at 6 because X. This is something I just kind of came up with. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now that card appears at the sixth position.
Oh,
And it's
that
just
is
pretty simple,
quite
just
cool.
utilizing a double lift, obviously, but
Yeah.
it gets it into that position. I thought it was I don't know, just something I
Well,
came up
you
with
know what that
yesterday.
yeah, well, it reminds me of, the one where you say name a card, name a number, shuffle. Then
Uh,
they deal down to that number. They look, it's wrong. And
right,
then in that, I forget the exact mechanics, but in that, you then get their card to that position, you throw those on top, and then you say, okay, well, that was the first time was random, this time use your intuition, whatever. That's kind of like that, but that's almost more deceptive because they don't really see their cards. So I
right,
wonder,
and the cards are flipped over, so they see the card's not there. So that was kind of the idea in the
yeah,
back of my head. I don't know. I had a couple drinks last night. I was just playing with the
that's
cards,
actually
and
pretty neat.
I thought, feel
Let's
feel free to
see.
use it, for whatever you want.
Let me see if this works. Okay, let me see if this works. Is this orientation locked? Can you still see?
Yeah, it's orientation locked, but I can see what you're doing.
Okay, we'll do this because I just want you to see the table. Okay, let me try this. So shuffle. All right, Brandon. Yeah, I think this will work. Okay. I just want you to think of a card that you see, not the bottom one. It's too easy, but anyone. Tell me when you got one.
Okay, got one.
Got one. Okay, keep that in your mind. And then here's what we'll do. I'm going to attempt my best to see if I can try to read you. Okay, so here's how I'm going to do that. In order to do that, one thing that I found is that people need a really strong image of their card. And the best way to do that is if I just show you this deck, it's shuffled up, and you just try to pluck your card out of the deck. Now, don't say anything, don't give anything away, but just look for it, okay? But don't give anything away. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
So just look for it. Can you see these okay?
yeah.
Okay. All right, you got it?
I didn't see the card.
No? That's all good,
Uh,
though, but you know what it is, right? You won't forget it?
Yeah, I won't forget it.
Okay. Now, I was going to try to read you like this, but because I can't really see you right now, I'm going to do it a slightly different way. I'm going to watch you, and I'm just going to deal through like this. And again, just look for your card, but don't give anything away. I'm going to try to use like the micro expressions of your
Okay.
face to try to see if I can figure out what that card is. Okay. Again, I don't see nothing. Nothing. I'm just going to go quick here. It's not super important. Brandon, do you have a good idea whereabouts in the deck your card is right now?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. Okay, good, because I sure don't. Let me see if I could figure this out. I wasn't able to get too much from you. The only thing I was able to get is I'm pretty sure you went for a red card. Is that right?
I did.
And in fact, I think we don't even need all the cards. That's fine. I think you went for a face card, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah. Here's what we're gonna try. Okay, Brandon, you can see right here. Name a small number, maybe from 1 to 10.
6.
6. You can see, Brandon. It's not at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, right? But if he snapped, now it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What was your card?
Queen of diamonds. Yes. Yo, I love that, bro. That's a really good application for it.
Yeah. I was just thinking. I was like, so that's something I've been working on, a thought of card thing. And I was like, I have a really cool ACAN that I do with it and a bunch of other stuff, but um, that is a cool version to do with it too, because it's almost like it's like, oh, what you'd say, I think, is you'd say, it's not here, it's not here, it's not here. 3, let's say it's 4. It's not at 4,
Right.
but maybe if you try, and then you just hand it to them.
And
That's
then the
nice,
funny
right?
part is, if you give them the cards to like deal back out again, now it's going to be in the exact same order that they just saw, because they're getting reversed as
Exactly.
they're being dealt down.
Yeah.
So that's also a fun
Yeah,
little
totally.
thing to think about.
Yeah, like I wonder, the only thing I would want to see is like how much could you do in terms of like, could we do numbers 1 to 20, or is that too much,
You
Like if you could
you
do this, if
could.
there was a
It's all okay. So it can be done easily, because even though you have that double in your hand, as you're shoving cards in there, nobody's going to notice the double after you've gotten like 3 or 4 cards in there, because even if it spreads a little bit, nobody can tell the difference. That's what covers it.
totally. I just
Right.
mean time wise, like is it too boring to be like, oh, okay, 21,
And yeah, that's kind
22,
of why I
23?
thought like 1 to 10, kind of thing. But it
Yeah.
could be
Like I
done.
wonder if there's a way, like if you could you do it from the bottom. So if they said a number like 42 and you have the card,
Oh, like in
uh,
reverse way? Yeah, I see what you're saying.
yeah, so you could be like, oh, let's just save time. Then you could have the high ends of the card's name too. I'm just
Um,
trying to think about.
if the card was second from the bottom, I guess.
Oh no, this works. Yeah, second from the bottom. Okay. You
Right,
turn
and
it. Look,
then
so I got the 10 of diamonds. You turn it
and then
turn it
flip it
face
over.
down, and then you turn the cards over as you're doing it.
Yes. Yep.
And
And
then
then
so
yeah, it'd be
that's
right there.
so
Yeah.
52, 51, 50, 49, 52, 51, 40. There's one off, so it's at 48. So because I think because it's reversed, you have to go one less, which is probably
Right.
not too
Yeah,
difficult to
you're
do.
right. Yeah,
Anyway,
because it
but if there's a
blocks the
way where you could
reversing.
like get where you could have it like, now the reality is you could use something maybe psychological where you're like, name a number between 1 to 52, but don't make it too long because we don't want to be here all day.
Right.
Like, cool. That's a cool idea, actually. I quite like that. I'm gonna play around with it.
I just
But
randomly came. I was messing with the cards yesterday. Randomly came up with it. I don't. I often come up with stuff and then I'll forget it later. But I just remembered it, and I don't know. I thought you might like it. So
gotta make notes. Gotta take notes.
I
That's the
do
key.
take notes, but some it's weird, right? Because I work nights, so sometimes like if I stay up during the day or whatever, I'll be tired, but then I'll want to stay up, and I'll be playing with the cards, get an idea, and then I'll fall asleep, and maybe I'll remember it, and maybe I won't. So
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Some of the best ideas are when you're sleeping, right?
I'm telling you, I feel like I've forgotten more magic than I remember sometimes.
I
That's
think
the
we all
struggle,
have.
right?
That is definitely the struggle, man.
Oh man,
Totally.
but so we've been on here for a little bit. I don't want to cut it short or anything, but I got some stuff I got to do today, and I do got to
Totally.
get going.
Yeah.
But um, do call me right after this, because I do want to see a little demonstration. I'm very excited
We'll do it
for
right
trying.
now.
Yeah. But if you like, give us the final word.
The final word, man. Well, look, I want to thank you so much for having me on, and for
Anytime, bro. You're great
picking up
people.
the cards and sharing them. You too, man. I really appreciate it. And giving me a chance to talk about all this stuff. It was a lot of fun. Little jam at the end too. Yeah, RF Slights OG playing cards available now. rfslights.com/shop. But yeah, if anyone wants to check out my stuff, Reid Ferry on YouTube, rfslights.com, rfslights on Instagram, and pretty much everything else.
Highly recommend the
But yeah, I
YouTube
appreciate it,
channel.
man.
You really can't beat the free content that he has on there. I mean, just
Appreciate it,
check out
bro.
the channel. You'll see what I mean. You can thank me later.
Appreciate it, man. And I think the last thing is, if we can get any support from anyone on this AGT journey, we're really excited for you guys to see what we've been working on, and what Cameron's got in store is going to be awesome. And I always tell people, like, it's equally as rewarding being a consultant. Seeing your ideas being played out and having success. And so, supporting him is just as much supporting me. And so we're super excited for you guys to see what we have. And so if anyone, wants to support, tune in to AGT season 21. And just do what you can. If we might need some audience votes if we get far enough. So we're going to need our American friends, because I'm pretty sure Canadians can't vote on AGT, as far if I know correctly.
Oh,
So we
man.
will need.
I got you, bro. You got my vote. Yeah, I got to
I
support the
appreciate you,
team.
brother.
Like I
Yeah.
said, if you guys have what you guys want to like send me posters that I can repost and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to support you guys for sure. You
I
got to support
appreciate
the
it, man.
people
We
you
really
believe
appreciate it. That's it, man. Yeah, it's we're a small community. Like, I think we should support everyone in all of their endeavors. Like, we should all be rooting, even if it's not us, for a magician to be winning that show. We should all be doing everything. Like, it helps everyone when magicians win, right, or have
in.
success on these shows,
Yeah.
right? But it's even better if it's us. So vote for us.
You heard that. If you're watching this, support them on America's Got Talent season 21. Go and vote.
Go and vote. We appreciate it, man. Well, I appreciate it so much, Brandon. This was a blast as always, and I'm always down for part 3. So you let me know.
Oh yeah, I got you, bro. We'll set it up.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, my man. And I'll
All right.
talk to you very,
Thank you,
very
bro.
soon. In a couple minutes or
We'll talk
minute or
right
so.
now. All right.
All right, brother.
Have a good one, man.
You too.
Peace.